kind of normal, honestly. All right. We're live? Oh.
Oh.
Can everybody hear us? I don't even have the chat open. So I'm just going to assume you're all there. I really appreciate you for dealing with all this nonsense. Especially when we have somebody new come on who wanted to be, that sounds like fun. And then I can quickly tell she's like, why did I do this? So this has been broken this whole time. Hold on. Let me, boy. Oh, how's everybody's night? By the way, thank you for coming on to this hot mess tonight, Cobragirl. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cobragirl.
Hello.
Allie.
Hello, guys.
When I'm still trying to find chat, because now I'm so flustered. I don't even know what I'm doing. The most simplest thing seems complicated right now. So just bear with me. Bear with me. I apologize. Right. Gotcha. Okay. All right. How's it going, everyone? That's my wife. Well, there you go.
My boyfriend. That's him.
Well, he's just going straight in with that. I
don't know.
Okay. Yeah. So, welcome everybody to the Balanced Gamer Show. I'm never that excited when we start this at all. So, yes, as I've already introduced, there's Cobra. She is a really cool Twitch streamer. I will shout her out in a second once I get the chat actually working, running. Yes, I'm gonna go to. Oh boy, I don't like myself right now. I know. Yeah, no, I don't. Oh, nothing's working anymore. Okay. Hold on, guys. My chat in OBS for some reason just doesn't want to work, so I'm gonna go to the our main channel.
That works.
Yeah, I know. You can see the wind's been sucked out of me right now. If you guys, you saw some of it before. Hold on. I'm gonna tilt over here for a second so I can see what the hell I'm doing. All right. Jeez. Okay. Now I can see the chat. Now we can actually begin. Jeez. Hey, how's it going, Jason? How's it going, Kira? How's it going, everybody in the chat? Thank you so much for dealing with my nonsense of a broken piece of shit. The problem is, here's the problem. We may still even go out. It's possible because I was supposed to stream Cobra. She knows. I was supposed to stream this by myself because David usually is the one to do it, and I had to scramble last second. And I thought I had everything set up correctly, and I quickly realized none of it was working. Not a darn thing.
Yep.
Sorry. So Cobra, thank you so much for coming on to this mess. How is your night going? And
good.
Going good besides this nonsense? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good to hear. You managed it in the end. Let's not go that far right now because I do think the power will go out. So if that happens, then I'm just going to be like, what?
That's going to be karma.
You next time I'm done. I'm going to bed. So, okay. So here we go. We're going to put this here. Put that here. All right. You mad at? Yeah. Oh, God. All right. So. Oh, sorry for all you audio listeners for dealing with that. I apologize. All right. So I'm just out of my groove right now. I can't even begin to tell you how flustered I am. When the lights go down, you go down. I agree with you, Kuro. 100%. But yes. Welcome to our show where we once a week just come and talk about nonsense and broken shit and things that don't work and have fun and talk about games and movies. I'm really happy to have Cobra with us this week because, well, she asked to come on. She's regretting it, but she asked to come on. And,
no, I don't regret it.
And so here we are. And never going to get over that. I'm gonna go to bed crying tonight.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, Cobra, why don't you let ones? Well, I know your regulars are here, which is awesome.
Oh
Why
my
don't you let
gosh.
everybody in the chat know who you are and what you do and what you like and what you, whatever.
Whatever.
So I'm done. I'm almost. I feel like I'm done with my mind's off right now. I need you to take the wheel for a second.
Okay. Well, hello everybody. My name is Cobragirl. Everyone calls me Allie, or my full name is Alexandra. But hey, I only get called that when I get yelled at. So I'm a variety streamer. I stream on Twitch. I'm also a small content creator. I do YouTube as well. And yeah, I'm just a
Right.
nerd playing games.
Aren't we all though at the end of the day? Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
I've been that since I could remember. My very first memory is seeing a blue character run really fast on the screen, and it had to be Sonic the Hedgehog because I don't know who else that would have been back in the day in 1995 or 6. So don't make her too sad for me and her gotta go shows to watch. Okay, you gotta go shows. I'm not gonna. This isn't going to be the sad episode. Okay, the sad part is over. The whole trying to get everything to work, that was the sad part. That's sad, but other than that,
I can admit it. I did cry on stream a couple of times. I can admit that.
I haven't done it yet. I've gotten close, but there's always a first time. No, there's no. Last week we talked about mental wellness and stuff. That was a touchy one. That's not what it is all the time here.
Right.
When we feel like it. No, we got some really weird shit to talk. Cool shit and weird shit. Something I'm going to bring up that it's going to throw everybody off like base. But you know what? We're just going to talk about that right now because I want to get that out of the way and I want to laugh. So, I have never told you, Allie, about the this weird thing one of my friends started with years back. It's back in 2016. There's a reason why I'm going to talk about this. So he was playing Fallout 4. Sure, you know what everybody knows what Fallout 4 is. He at one point just decided to go around and collect a bunch of lawn flamingos and stick them around in front of him in his house, wherever he had, in one of his places he hung out in the game. Hey, how's it going, Alana?
Hello.
How's it going? I'm glad you joined at the right time because it was broken for 30 minutes. So anyways, so yeah, continuing, he decided he wanted to collect a bunch of flamingos and stick them all over the place. I remember I was watching a share play of his thing and they were just everywhere. It was weird. But anyway, he brought something to my attention. He said, have you ever noticed that like there's so many video games that have some form of a flamingo in it?
Yeah.
You've noticed that?
There's a little flamingo right there. The duck flamingo.
Wait a minute. Now I have to see this. You have to bring this closer now. Oh no. I didn't even know that was there. So now this is going to make things even more interesting. Okay. So anyways, back to the story. When he mentioned that to me, I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah. So if you play games like you'll notice they're there. I'm just like, okay, you're whatever. I just kind of rolled it off and I'm like, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. So ever since then, every video game I have played, almost not every video, but like a vast majority of the games I play, has a flamingo hidden in there somewhere. Sometimes it's very obvious. Sometimes it's on the marketing. And it's actually been worse the past couple of years. They've been driving it in marketing like crazy with video games and everything else. Dead Island 2 has a flamingo on the box art. Yep. I have played Assassin's Creed Mirage. There's flamingos flying around all over the place. You collect flamingo feathers. Spider-Man, there's lawn flamingos everywhere in that game if you're looking carefully. I play God of War Ragnarok. I see flamingos flying across even in that game. I play Hitman 3 or 2, and it has an indie racetrack. Themed flamingo indie racetrack. It's called has like a flamingo logo and everything. Has murals of flamingos everywhere.
There's a mascot too.
And a mascot.
There's a mascot.
I play Fortnite and then I see it and then I played. I played some game recently where there's an achievement for picking up a stuffed animal. It was a flamingo and you rip the head off and it has some. So I actually started believing this weird conspiracy theory in my head with all of this. And as I told more people about it, I told David about it, and he thought it was nuts, by the way. And he started seeing it all over the place too. I actually reached out to somebody in marketing and I asked them, am I crazy? Because I started seeing it on TVs, magazines, also like, am I crazy, or is there some sort of a weird push for this animal? He's like, oh no, you're right, there is. He's like, yeah, there's the flamingo. They started just doing this the past couple of years with flamingos, and he named off a couple of other animals and stuff. And I'm like, oh, so I'm not crazy. Thank God. I even saw the new goat simulator that just came out. There's 2 box art covers for it. The second one, where they're all wearing clothing, look at one of the goats. They're wearing flamingo glasses.
Oh.
So I could keep going.
I spot a flamingo when I was playing Mortal Kombat 1 on the mansion. There's actually a flamingo there.
Yeah, I've seen it there too. So the reason why I'm bringing this ridiculous thing up is because starting on Monday, I've decided to make a special event within the Boundless Gamers private group Facebook community. And there's quite a few of you there now, so I've been waiting to fire this up. We're gonna start an event, and I'm gonna have made a custom picture for it and everything. We'll reveal it tomorrow in the group. But we're gonna call this event "Where's Mingo?" Anybody know where's Waldo in here? Anybody old enough to know where's Waldo is? Okay. So, what I want everybody to do. Every time you see a flamingo signing in a game, I want you to take a screenshot of it. I want you to post it in the group, and I want you to tell me, or everybody there, what game it's from. I want information. We can start spreading this awareness. I've talked to even other developers about this, and at first, there was one of the developer, he thought I was insane, and he told me like a week later, I hate you now. I was like, why? I see them in every game. He's like, you actually might be onto something. So, yeah. By the way, CD Projekt Red had flamingos in Cyberpunk 2077 everywhere. That game. Yep. Statues, wallpaper, lamps. There's a mission where you drive over flamingos with a car.
I know that one.
And then I played Stray. I'm like, the cat game. Okay, there's no way I'm going to see anything here. Played through the whole game thinking I'm going to get away, and then I see a robot with a flamingo shirt on, and then I lost my shit. So, yeah, it's real. David said it doesn't have to be a game. I'd like to see how much flamingos have invaded the regular world now too. Yeah, there's screensavers. I've seen them on magazines, cereal boxes. I literally just like a couple weeks ago, I turned on a television in the home, the wallpapers that automatically change. There was a beach and there was a flamingo sitting right on the beach. So I'm not crazy.
No.
Maybe Allie might think I'm crazy.
No.
Give it time. You play more games, you're going to start seeing it. Once I tell people about it, they see it. It's one of those things.
I mean, it's like the kind of rarest Easter egg to find is flamingos. I mean, I've seen certain Easter eggs where there's like a red balloon from it, basically. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then there's like, I think a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Easter egg around here. So it's crazy. I mean, I feel like the flamingos might be my bad because I live in Florida. Because there's just so many. No. Or maybe some of the developers live in Florida. And they're like, hey, let's put a flamingo in a game. That's technically where you find flamingos.
Yeah, I can't I can't believe that's actually a thing.
Yep.
And I do think there are some I know CD Projekt Red was making fun of it. They were too heavy on it in that game. So there was literally, I actually found a forum on, I read a post, and there was an entire subreddit for people spotting flamingos in Cyberpunk 2077. I don't have the pictures on me, but I saw it, and there was people spotting them everywhere in the city. Just letting you know. God, all right. Now that that's over with. Yes, so there is going to be a community event on tomorrow. I will launch it. We'll see it. All right, I see some of these comments. You definitely see them a lot in Florida. I used to live in Florida. Okay. That's what Alana said. Jessica said, "Why flamingos, though?" I don't have an answer for you. I don't have an answer for you at all. I don't know why. I don't know why at all. I'm just glad Izza's not in the chat right now. She would just be like freaked out about all of this. All right. Anyways, Cobra, Allie, what you been playing lately? Like, what besides the usuals? Like, what you been playing? So I know you like to play Fortnite, stuff like that.
Not really.
Okay.
I'm more of a Warzone player than a Fortnite player, honestly. Because when I got back into Fortnite, I was playing solos and I got killed by Peter Griffin. That's how bad I was.
By the way, speaking of that, Peter, fun fact. I don't know if this is true or not, but my friend was telling me. I didn't fact check it, so it could be bullshit. So just take it with a grain of salt. But apparently, Peter Griffin, the avatar in that, why is he all muscular and stuff, built and everything? Someone asked Seth MacFarlane why is that, and he didn't know, and he looked into it, and they just didn't. The simple answer is they just didn't want to make a new body, so they gave him a muscle body. They didn't want to give him the actual Peter Griffin body.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I guess because of like copyright or something like that, because I heard something about that.
It's not really copyright. The issue is they don't want to pay money to make a new model of the character, and that, which blows my mind because they're Epic and they have a lot of money. But
yeah,
in many ways. David said Warzone. Yay, my hero. That's right.
I try my best on Warzone. I kid you not. Like when it comes to Resurgence solo, I try my best to get like 5 kills each in every round. Usually I get lucky. Sometimes the boyfriend carries, sometimes I carry, but you know, it's a love-hate relationship with Warzone.
So David worked at Activision for a while, 2 decades or so. So he worked on the Call of Duty games. What do you think of? I never asked you, David. You're in the chat. What do you think of Warzone? Like the modern that mode for Call of Duty. Like, what do you think of it? Because I think that came out after you left. Like, is it a mode you care about? What do you think about it? What would you change? That's what I'm asking. Or do you give a shit? You don't care at all, maybe. Yeah. So, yeah, I've been watching your streams for a little while now, and I know you play. You played Mad Max recently. You played. Wait, I'm getting others confused. Do you play Dead by Daylight at all?
No? I kind of do. I'm starting to get back into it. Trying to. I mean, last time I streamed it, I think it was when Chucky came out.
Okay.
And we had like a basically a custom match with me and the boyfriend and a couple of friends. Which we took turns.
Yeah.
Killing each other. Kinda.
Dead by Daylight is one of those it's an acquired taste games. Mm-hmm. You have to like games like Friday the 13th or I hate to mention this. I don't know if you remember Evolve, that game.
Yeah, I remember that.
The big monster and everybody has to chase it, and 90% of the game you're just chasing this thing and there's no action. So that fell off pretty fast. I know by the way, hi, it's Tayshawn. How's it going? It's Lost Munchies in the chat. I know you don't like these kind of games we're talking about. I don't know. I keep trying to get into them, but it's just something doesn't hook me in. Like I tried the Texas Chainsaw game. I didn't like it at all. It just felt like a shitty version of Dead by Daylight to me. And then there's they did the what was it called? Evil Dead one from Interactive.
Yeah.
I think the issue I have with these games, and Dead by Daylight has obviously fixed this over time because it's popular and it's added a lot more content. Yep. When these games launch, there's like nothing there. Literally.
Yeah.
One map, one mode, $50, have fun. and I feel like they get old really quick. But somehow, Dead by Daylight just seems to keep doing its thing. Like, it keeps getting new IPs. It keeps
New killers.
getting new characters, killers from all kinds of IPs that are very hard to get. So I don't know how exactly they're doing it, but good for them. That's so good for them. I don't think they've gotten Jason Voorhees yet. That's like the hardest IP to get from the horror series,
right?
Because of all the copyright issues with it. But anyway, so what really got you into gaming, Cobra? Like, what was the consoles that really?
I grew up playing the PS2 and the GameCube.
Okay.
Yep.
That makes me feel old. Okay. Makes me feel very old. All right. Those are great consoles. Yep.
Yeah. And I started because if I can remember my first game, which would be Tekken. I think Tekken 5, maybe. I was like versing my dad in it, like my stepfather, and because he's also a gamer himself, so he likes gaming sometimes, and then it just runs into the family. So he doesn't do it anymore because he's busy with martial arts and all that stuff because he does that for a living.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah, he does. He trains people how to defend themselves, and basically, he does like these events with his students, and he has his own like academy. It's pretty crazy.
That's actually awesome.
Yep.
I need to learn how to defend myself in that way. I feel like if I get jumped, I'm done. I'm too thin. I need to know some moves to kind of survive in a fight. All right, so you played the GameCube and the PlayStation 2. So what are some of your favorite games on those systems?
Oh boy.
Can you pick one? Put you on the spot.
I would say, because there was this one game, I don't know if it's on one of these consoles. It's Crime. I like Crime, and then there was a NY Crime 2 as well.
I think that is PlayStation 2. Yes, you're correct.
Yeah, that one. So I played that game nonstop before like GTA and all that stuff. This was like my go-to kind of game. And then I also did like a little bit of Godfather here and there. So, and then on the GameCube, I think there was one, it was like a space kind of game. Oh, what is her name? She basically has like what is it called? I forgot what the heck it's called, but Samuelsons or whatever. It's called. Yeah, that one.
Yep.
Yeah. So that one was like really good. And then I think it was like Super Mario Epic something. So yeah.
All right. So
decent games.
What made you want to start streaming on Twitch and all that? What was the drive behind that?
Basically meeting new people and like getting people to know and all that stuff. I don't just watch them. I just like enjoy their personalities and all that stuff. Right. And like there's like so many people that I know. And you know, basically because we all start small, then we start growing if we want to grow. Which it takes time. And yeah, so it's like, you know what? Because I did YouTube first before Twitch, and like I did YouTube 2013, I think it was, like good old classic iPod kind of, you know.
Oh yeah, the janky setup where you just put this really bad phone like in front of the thing. Yeah.
Yep. I had that. That was embarrassing, but you know, I didn't have like the chances. I mean, I still have issues here and there with my setup.
I used to do toy reviews, so I understand having a shitty camera in front of in front of whatever the hell I was reviewing. It was not fun times.
It was not.
No.
But yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, YouTube. I did that for 5 years, and I learned a little from it, but
Right.
ultimately I realized, YouTube just screws over the small content creators.
It does. It still does these days.
I
Because
mean,
you
yeah,
get these trollers sometimes. I don't know if they're bots or whatever. Because sometimes I get like they go back to like dislike, then dislike, like back and forth kind of game, which
yeah.
that's been driving me nuts for a while. But like learning how to do the timestamps and all that stuff, that was like the most difficult part. I mean, the boyfriend could tell about this because he doesn't do it, but yeah.
Did you do a
Um,
lot of video editing at all?
I do the video editing. That's what
Yeah.
I I enjoy it, and then sometimes like, nah, I mean, I'm trying to learn how to do subtitles, and it's kinda hard to do that in certain
I
ones.
yeah, I've done so I have done like I must have done 3 or 400 videos at least, maybe more. I've edited them, and they're not really editing the video is not that bad, depending on I guess how long the video is and how much editing you want to
Yeah.
put into it. The
Oh, yeah.
problem I ran into was when we first started doing Balance Gamers, we did it audio only and like
Mhm.
on Spotify and stuff like that. And editing the audio is just a nightmare.
Mhm.
Audio only. I don't know why. It sounds very different when
Oh,
you're using some sort of a program like Audacity or whatever to edit the audio. And I don't know why, but it just everything sounds more all over the place, and you have to go in
yeah.
there and clean it up, and that is hell
Yeah.
editing all that.
I mean,
So
there's that time I've had people comment on my video saying, "You're loud," through these, like, reaction videos or whatever, and I was like, "Yeah, here's the thing, that I had a snowball mic once, and that sucker was loud, and I never knew around the PC, you're supposed to turn, like, your microphone, like, the
yes,
volume-wise. I never knew that. Until, like, my boyfriend, like, couple of times he comes to my stream because this is the time I was playing Fortnite a couple of times here, and he's like, "Oh, you're loud," or, like, "You're soft," or whatever, "You're, like, yelling off the mic," because I don't want my microphone to echo or, like,
hmm,
have background noises, which that's the reason why some of us have pop filters because they help. Um,
yep,
but yeah, it the mic stuff is definitely the hardest part. Out of
yeah. I know. Paul, Neon Puppy, Jessica. She's a YouTuber. She says editing is a labor of love. Sometimes it's so tedious. Yes,
Mhm.
it is tedious.
Yeah.
When it's all finished, though, it's great.
Yeah.
You feel like you accomplished something, but it's when you're in the thick of it.
And then waiting for YouTube to process your video and all that stuff, especially if it's like a long
Oh,
ass video.
it stays at like
Yeah.
480p for like hours, and you can't publish it yet because there's no other resolution available on the video yet, and you're just
Yeah,
sitting there
it's crazy.
refreshing. Yeah, I don't miss that. I really don't.
I
Um,
just I just enjoy recording videos and then just like post it on YouTube, wait until the reactions because I've been having like issues where my views don't go up that much because YouTube changed their whole, program or
algorithm.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. And it's still stuck in the same exact area, which I don't know why. Because I thought it would go big due to the castling of Frank Castle because that video had 2K views. So
The
yeah.
I think the most I ever had was 40 or 50K in a video. I don't know why it exploded. I reviewed the Vita, the
Oh, wow.
PlayStation Vita, and it was a shit video too, but people liked it. I'm like, this is like literally one of the worst videos I've ever done, and people like this.
Yeah,
I've
especially
literally put so little effort into this, and people liked it.
yeah, because I just do, like, 1080p videos here and there, like, different playthroughs. Like, I just got done with Alan Wake Remastered,
Mm.
which the last part kinda had me a little bad. But, yeah, it's crazy, and, I mean, the boyfriend, he does, like, 4K, for his videos, and I can't do that
Oh, he's got
because.
the good shit. Okay.
Yeah, basically, but he records off his console. I record off of my, capture card.
Oh,
So, yeah. And he does not like editing either. He's like, "Oh, you're so good at editing." And I was like, "No, not really. I mean, I'm still learning." So,
yeah. It may look like I know what I'm doing, but trust me, I
yeah,
don't know what I'm doing.
exactly.
Just like the beginning of the show. I don't know what I'm doing. It definitely looked like I didn't know what I was doing this time. So,
Right.
yeah, it's kind of crazy, like where we start and then where we go and then where we are now. And
Oh yeah.
you meet a lot of cool people along the way. I have met a lot of people, including you. I've met a bunch of people on Twitch, of YouTube, the YouTube days. I'm still friends with a lot of the basically the other toy channels that we all kind of hook together to work out with some things and stuff like that. And yeah, it's about the community at the end of the day. I care more about no offense if Izza jumps in the chat. I like watching you play, and I like watching you Cobra play as well too, but mostly there for the personality and the chat and the conversation more
Absolutely.
than. I mean, I've played Mad Max. I know what it is. You know, I'm not gonna be surprised. So I know that you were having problems with that one part, and
yeah,
where you have to. It's that towards the end where you have that long chase. And you have to take out that big vehicle. That was if you're not upgraded in some.
I mean, if you don't have an armory, that was my mistake there. And I was like, oh, wait a second. Because I literally said this on chat. I was like, oh, I did something wrong. Because I was like, oh, now I have multiple stuff to throw at the guy. So I was like, oh, shit.
It's yeah. I haven't really been playing. I haven't been playing like a lot of games recently. I mean, I did play one. And I guess I can just jump into it right now. Because I know I gave us a puppy paw, Jessica in the chat, a copy of it. It's a game called A Blind Legend, and this game is literally was specifically made for people who either are 100% blind or your vision, your great vision's not that great, and there's really not a lot of games like that. And I'm sure I think I told you, Ali, we give codes to a lot of different people, whether it's people who need it, randomly, surprise, it doesn't matter who it is. It's just something we've been doing for like 2 years. I mean, there's literally, we have hundreds of keys we could still give away. So one of our donors in our community, and Sean, a different Sean, not the Sean that's in here, he gave me 2 copies of A Blind Legend. I gave 1 copy away to somebody else to check out the game. They're like, oh no, this is a game you can play with your eyes closed. I'm like, really? Like, yeah. It's like, all right, I kept the other copy, and I've been holding on to it for a while until I can find someone who could actually use it, who has that condition. And Jessica in the chat did. She told us in the community that her vision's 2200, and I'm like, oh, this is a game I think you're going to enjoy. Gave it to her, and she said she's really immersed in it. So when I heard that and what others were saying, I'm like, well, let me just buy this game. Why not? So I bought the game, and I'm like, all right, let me play it the way it's. Let me just put a blindfold on the entire time I play it. I even did it before, I started the game and I just put the blindfold on, and I wanted to see if I can get around in the menus and stuff like that without having to look. Yeah, it actually is a fully functional game that you don't even need to see. It's mostly well, let me just back up a little bit. The game was crowdfunded, and it was a small French developer who worked on it. There's like about 1,000 backers it had, and the game came out in 2016, so it's been a minute. It's been almost 7 years, and I was reading the reviews, and it's mostly positive, but people were saying like, oh, the AI voice is horrible in it. It's gonna make you drive you nuts. I'm like, all right, like let's not go negative immediately with this game. Look, this game is specifically made for people with this condition. Let's give this a chance. So I'm like, I think these people are probably going overboard with that. So I boot the game up, and they're right. The AI voice is horrific. It's really bad. It sounds like you just want to rip the thing off and throw your headset across the room. But I'm like, you know what? That's okay. That's okay. This is what they had. They're on a small budget. That's fine. So when I got into the main game, when you start hearing the characters, because it takes place like in the medieval time, all of the characters are fully voiced over by people. So I'm like, Okay, now I have a complaint. Why didn't they just get one of them to do the voice of this? Because the AI is just telling you like what's on the menu. Go here, click this, go here, up here, hold this button to do this and stuff like that. I'm like, you could have just got anybody to do that, but whatever. Point is, I actually do like the game. I think it actually delivers on what it's saying it's doing. It is an action adventure game that you can play without. Well, there's nothing on the screen. Even if you look at it, it's just fog. There's nothing on the screen. It's about a daughter and her father. Father's blind, so you play as a blind character, and the whole game it uses There'll be sections of it where you have when you're walking around. I'm like, how am I going to walk around? I'm like, how's this going to work? So the daughter she'll like call for you. You'll hit a button and she'll be like, hey, I'm over here. Come here, over here. And it has like 3D audio, so she'll sound like she's somewhere over here. And then you have to turn around until you hear her voice kind of line up straight directly in front of you. Yeah. And then you go follow her, and then you just kind of that's how you walk around in it. It's basically someone's always a guide there with you. And then there's combat. I'm like, combat? How's that going to work? Essentially how the combat works when there's enemies around you. You'll hear one here, you hear one here or in front. And then as it's coming in, it'll make like a certain specific sound and you have to hit the attack button or with the left stick forward or something. And then it'll deflect their swords or you'll hit them. And the right stick pulls up a shield. So you pull that down and then all the sounds muffled. And you have to just kind of figure out where the enemy's coming from. I'm like, this is very clever. And it gets even more clever when they introduce the health system in it. It's your heartbeat. So as you take damage, your heart you hear the heart beating faster. So that's how you know what your health's at in the game. But overall, I'm just like, I'm really impressed that like this, I'm amazed like this exists, this game. And anybody in the chat or Ali, or if you know anybody who has a condition like this, who they're legally blind or what various different cases of it. If you know any of you guys know anyone, I'll give them a copy of this game. I'll go out and buy the game, give them the copy of it. If we don't have extras laying around, we might still have a few extras. I will go out and get them one. So if you know anybody knows of anyone who can't play many games and they have this condition, tell them about this game at the very least, and hopefully they play it. And I do think more developers need to make games like this. We're all about accessibility now and all these accessibility options in these games. Let's make more games like this. I mean, I would love a big developer to make a game like this because anybody can play this. Like I said, I played it. That's not meant for me, but I beat the whole game. Is the story great? No, not really. Is the acting? It's fine. But that's not the point. It's just what the game is and what it accomplishes, and it does it. So, Blind Legend, guys, like, play it. Check it out. I'm sure, Ali, you haven't heard of this game at all. So,
no, I haven't.
It literally, I didn't even know of its existence. Someone told me about it. What's this? She skips side stuff most of the times. I'm sorry, I'm reading an old comment. I'm really bad at the comments tonight. As you could see. So, I'll do better as we go forward. Jessica, you said it took a little to get used to. Yeah, it is a little. It's not your typical game, that's for sure. Biggest complaint I do have with it, though, and I gotta, as much as I just praised it, it does one video game sin I don't like. While there is checkpoints throughout the game, like in the middle section of the game, the difficulty like drastically spikes, which is fine. I don't mind that it gets harder. I think that's cool. It provides a challenge. There's like a long gap between a next checkpoint. You have to go fight 2 bosses. If you die like at the second boss, it's going to bring you all the way back. You're going to have to listen to all the audio cutscenes again. You can't skip anything. So you're talking about 20 minutes. And if you go all the way back there again and die, you're going to have another 20 minutes. Another 20 minutes. No checkpoints in that area. So, yeah. Sucks. Yeah, so that's a Blind Legend. Pick it up. Support it. I know it's 7 years old, but maybe if it gets more attention, maybe they'll make something else like that again, those guys.
Right.
There is one other game. You know, you just reminded me of something earlier in the show. You pulled that ducky out. I played a game recently, and it's so funny that you have that. It has nothing to do. Well, by the way, there is a flamingo in this game, but that's not the point. That's not what I'm trying to make. So there's a game called Placid. Oh, is it Placid Plastic Duck Simulator? I think that's the name of it. Have you heard of this?
No, I have not.
You should have. No, I'm just kidding. So friend Jason sent me, he's in the chat, he sent me a code for this. Like, check this game out, it's $2. I'm like, all right. I'm like, it's a simulator of a floating duck. I'm like, all right, this is, whatever, I'll play it. I wasn't gonna buy it, he gifted it to me, so I was like, okay. First off, when you start the game, you're in it drops a duck in a pool, and then right off to the side there's a big gigantic floating flamingo, so there's that. So we go back to that again. Anyways, so drop the duck into the pool, and I'm like, all right, so what do we do here? Are we just moving it around, or all I could do was switch the camera, and that's it. I just watch. That's the game. You sit there and watch a screensaver. Essentially what it is. Fantastic game. You should try it out. Stream it.
Okay.
Stream it. You get a lot. See, that's the game you stream where you just want to talk. Because there's no game there. There's absolutely no. And I sat there. Well, I was doing other things, but I sat there for 25 minutes. And occasionally it drops another duck in the pool. And then this is it. This is the whole game. I'm sorry for you audio listeners. I'm moving my hands up and down slowly like it's ducks floating on water. Little plastic ducks. This is the whole game. You don't control them. You don't do anything. This is it.
Watch. This is a watching simulator.
What's worse, that or Garfield Kart? I just saw in the chat. Oh no, this. At least I can play Garfield Kart. At least it's not a great game, but at least I can play that. I think eventually you can control one of the ducks with a remote.
Mm.
But it takes there's like 7 to complete everything in this game. It takes 17 hours. So if you have time to kill, go play Placid Duck Simulator, whatever the hell it was called. All right. That's I'm gonna be honest with you. That's literally one of the worst things I've ever played. I have to say that's a lot coming from me because I like playing really bad games. I've played some games nobody would ever even think of that exist. And I play that and I'm like, I can't even play this. This is not a game. I'm always advocating of, nope, this is a game. People say Telltale games aren't really games. That pisses me off when they say that. Like, because there's not much interaction. It's just only talking. They're like, oh, there's not much gameplay mechanics. I'm like, that's a game.
It tells stories, basically.
It tells stories, but you can walk. I'm sorry. If you're kicking a can on the road, I can consider that a game. Like, if I wanted to. That's a game to me. I'm not saying that's how Telltale games are, but my point is the definition of a game could go far and beyond. But with this, I am literally looking at a screen and I am doing nothing. Nothing. No story. There's nothing here. It's not a game. Sorry. I had to get that out. It was in here for a while. You saw that. I wasn't going to bring it up, but then I remember that duck you showed, that little flamingo duck. And I had to say something when I saw that.
I swear, I went to Target and my mom saw all the ducks because my mom came down last year. And we were like scrolling around because my mom loves to go shopping at Target. And so does my baby sister. So and all of a sudden I saw a duck and I was like, hey, this reminds me of Dead Island 2, you know, with the ducks. So that's why I got this lovely duck that doesn't squeak. It lights up. That's all it does. It lights up. Kind of.
I love that there's a story behind that.
Yeah.
Not for Dead Island because of Dead Island 2. I love that.
No, I just said, hey mom, can I have this weird looking duck? She thought I was crazy. And I was like, okay, sure. If my sister gets a duck, I get a duck.
I mean, We've all done this. We walked into a store. We were probably going in there for one specific thing, or maybe we were just casually shopping, and we come out with something we did not expect.
Mm-hmm.
It happens all the time. I must have bought like a
bunch of my lovely Funkos that I have.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I have some stuff around here for that. Yeah, I've done that with Funkos, NECA figures. I've done that with. Yeah, I walked in there to get food, and I wound up coming out with like a couple of Back to the Future figures. That wasn't expected to happen.
It's rare for me to get a physical copy game because the last physical copy game I got was Last of Us Part 2 because that was like $20 and it was like on sale. So I was like, yeah, I gotta grab it. So because there's times I have to tell my family members, I take a picture of it. So like, hey, this is what I'm getting. You know, you take me to a store. I could either come up with like a bunch of movies, like make a movie haul, because usually that's me in a nutshell. Because if I need the dang movie, like Walking Dead, for example, I must have it for a collection.
That's right, because you're a huge Walking Dead fan. I can see those Walking Dead stuff back there. I see the pops.
Yep.
I really try. So I really like the Walking Dead's IP. I fell off of it towards the last season I watched of the main show was it's I'm not gonna it's old. I'm not gonna go into the whole ending, but it's when Rick and Negan and all them, they're all fighting on the hill.
Oh yeah.
We're about to or whatever. That is the last season I watched. And then they kind of take them off into this little cell. That's it. I don't know how it went after that. I really do need to. I think the problem was I got rid of Netflix. So when you get rid of Netflix, that was on Netflix for the longest time, and I just kind of forgot about it.
It still is. It's on Netflix. But I was like, I'd rather have like physical copy because, you know, I have like Walking Dead World Beyond, which has only 2 seasons for that, which again, it's connected because you learn about these CRM people, you know, and the ones who live that is coming out next year, or not next year, next month. So, you know, you learn more about it because before they said that this was supposed to be a movie because it was Rick Grimes' movie. They changed it to a show where it's Rick and Michonne. Then they changed it to The Ones Who Live, which the final, you know, cut for it because this ain't the first time they've done this because they did this with Dead City with spinoff with Negan and Maggie in it. Which again, everyone thinks, oh yeah, Negan and Maggie, it's gonna be a nut show because what happened before, you know, the whole situation.
So I don't have the context behind. I know what I know. I'm not going to say it, but I know for those who haven't watched the Walking Dead series, I know the big thing that happened that Negan did, and why Maggie, you know,
why everyone hates, and why half of the people stop watching because of that situation.
That's right. I remember the views dropped dramatically when that happened.
Yeah,
because we all right, so we all know this about the series. People die in the series. Okay, can we really say that without saying who and stuff? So there was a point in the series where they were just dropping a lot of certain characters, like, and it was in rapid succession too.
In a way,
yeah, it was happening way too fast, and I think, and I'm not saying that none of these characters can go. No,
I know one of the survivors. And this was like back in season 3, maybe season 4. This character died. Andrea, basically. Her name's Andrea. The actress, Andrea, basically was like, why did my character die and all this stuff? Like, it was too early for this character to die and all this stuff. Because there was like an article about it, and boyfriend can know about this because I told him about this because I didn't know she was in The Boys. So I was like, hey, you know, she looks familiar.
Right. Yeah, she is.
And I was like, wow. And then, you know, what happens in The Boys, then you know what happened. So basically.
Let me just take a peek at the chat. Let's see. Well, this is an old one. I'll just answer this real quick. Does the flamingo duck squeak? Jason wants to know.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't squeak. It lights up. Try to, but I think it's dead.
Let's see. Same. Okay. Joan said it won't be long, and all we will have it. Wait, it won't be long, and all we will have is digital. Oh, you mean we're going all digital?
Actually, yes. Actually, through that comment, actually.
Yeah.
So I was talking to one of my friends, and they say that I don't know if it's true, but physical media is not going to be a thing anymore because of I think it was, what store was it? I think it was Best Buy that
Yes.
stopped their movies and TV show
Mhm.
series on physical media. And I was like, oh, interesting, because I've never been to Best Buy to get my movies and all that stuff, because I'm more of a Walmart kind of gal, or Wawa, or whatever the heck it's called. Wally World,
It's
actually. But
that person's correct. That is going to happen. It's happened at Best Buy already. I believe it's going to happen at Walmart, and I'm not
I
sure
think
about
Target had it too as
Yeah.
well. When they first started, it was like Target had it, and I was like, oh my god, like you really have to get the movies off of Amazon or
Yes.
something, or it's sad, especially
It's
for people who collect physical media.
Yeah, you're clearly you're a collector like me. 'Cause you can see all the stuff from behind us. But I'm surprised actually that it's actually because yeah, I mean you're much younger than me, and you collect physical like movies and stuff.
Mhm.
I don't hear that very often.
For example, Free Guy.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about that shortly. That's right. That's man,
This, yeah,
that's yeah. That's
and
actually fascinating.
it's sad
Fascinating.
because
But
half of the people, they
mhm,
can't afford, like Netflix,
it's true.
Hulu, and all that stuff. And then people are complaining like, "Oh yeah, this person had this and all this stuff." And then they're saying, "Oh yeah, like physical's better than, you know, um digital, or digital is better than physical." It's like a back and forth kind of thing. It's kind
I don't.
of
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna go away like permanently, but it's definitely drastically reduced. It's happening with video games. I mean, GameStop is
yeah.
suffering because of it.
Yeah, especially like through like couple of like the old version game, or the old version games. Like, you can't find any PS2 games anymore. It's kind of hard to find those kind of games cuz they're rare. But and
Mm,
I know about the whole gaming situation cuz I worked at GameStop last year, and
oh,
there's like this
that's
one
right.
time that we were literally waiting for a game to come, and it was already out for release, but it wasn't out on physical.
Mm.
So we literally had to wait for many boxes for this game.
Um. So you've worked always. I gotta ask. I gotta ask because every time someone says they work at GameStop, so we one of my hosts who used previous co-hosts, he worked at GameStop, and every time I asked him about it, he's like, "No, I don't want to talk about it." I was like, "All right, you gotta ask." How was your time working there? Was
My
it mostly
first
positive or
my first shift was 8 hours. Like my straight up first shift. And basically, because they were showing around me the ropes and all this stuff, and I was like, "Oh, okay." So I'm here like with my grandmother and all this stuff, and we're like talking about like, this is what I want to do and all this stuff, because I always wanted to work at GameStop, like try it out, because I've heard many, many, many reviews of certain YouTubers used to work at GameStop,
Yep.
and then all that stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'll just try it out. I mean, I'm young. Hell, I'll try it out. Like, I'm a nerd, and learning the ropes. Like, here I am, around I think it was the PlayStation area, or maybe it was the Nintendo area, where you have to do all the alphabetical order stuff.
yes?
And so that was my first part of the job, doing that. I did seasonals, so there wasn't
Oh,
really
okay.
nothing special about it. I mean, it's like part-time and all that stuff. This is like before like I didn't have school and all this stuff. So I was like, it was fun. I mean, the boss was cool. Unfortunately they cut my paycheck a bit because like the whole
Mm,
COVID stuff happened,
yeah.
and then my boss got COVID, and I got this phone call, and I was like, "I'm sorry, we have to let you go," and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, poop. And he's like, oh, you can reapply and all this stuff until like life hits you in the curve. And I'm like, oh, shoot. But
when you said COVID, that reminded me so much when GameStop did not want to shut down. They didn't want to shut down in a lot of places. They were saying like, no, we're an essential store. I'm like, okay. Do you sell food? Well, no. Oh, kind of, I guess, if you want to count candy in the corners, or sometimes they sell M&Ms and shit like that. But no, they really tried to stay open with the heat of COVID. And then literally the authorities had to knock on the doors like, you have to close this down or we're going to close it down. It's like, yeah, it took them that much.
It was ridiculous. So, I mean, like, if you ever want to know what happens in the back, like all the way in the back in the GameStop.
Yes.
Basically, just a bunch of pre-orders and all this stuff. It was so crowded. I actually seen a statue of Callisto Protocol. And I literally took a picture of it, sent it to the boyfriend. I was like, are you ready for this game? And he's like, we played it and like, okay, yeah. I mean, the blocking was so bad in that game. And I was like, oh my God, because there's like so many times I wanted to rage quit.
Blocking and dodging. The dodge in that made absolutely no sense. And I can't even, to this day, like when I try to describe it, it's still hard to describe because it's, all right, you get a point for trying to do some new dodging feature in a game. Just because it's different doesn't mean you should try it, because it didn't work like most of the time. It sucked. It absolutely sucked trying to dodge in that game. And it's really a shame that came from the Dead Space creator.
And then like the DLC, because I heard things about the DLC, it was not that great. It was like fast, I guess, because certain DLCs this time they're fast.
Yes.
Like they don't take their time on it. Like a lot of people are waiting for like these sequels and like, you know, DLCs and all this stuff. And like it sucks that some developers, they rush on their games. Yeah. And that's like when the gaming community is so damn pissed about it. And I mean, I don't blame them, but regardless, if you're just going to make it fast.
The biggest problem in those situations, it's actually the publisher.
Yeah.
Pressuring the devs to crunching them to kind of get it on a certain date. This game's got to go out.
Right.
Unfortunately, I don't know. Here's the things that was great about Callisto Protocol is the atmosphere, the sound design, the lighting, like really nice in the game. Acting was pretty good for the most part as well. They had a bunch of familiar faces.
It was really good. I mean, yeah, there was the girl from The Boys, and like I didn't know that until like my friends like, oh, did you know this girl was in The Boys? And I was like, no,
Kimiko, is that her name? Or
The
Boys?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, okay. Mainly through that game, I gotten so spooked because there's these boxes that scared the living crap out of me, and you never know what's in these damn boxes.
That's right; those things come out sometimes.
Like, what the hell? I am never opening no boxes no more. This started into like Resident Evil 4, and like playing the remake of Resident Evil 4. And then the boyfriend's like, oh, don't worry. There's no box in the snake or whatever, because, you know, animals in video games scare the shit out of me. It's crazy. You never know what to expect. But, yeah. I mean, it's embarrassing because my username's Cobragirl, but hey, you know.
Does Cobra scare you? Cobra snakes?
No.
I mean, that would scare anybody if it was near one, though.
No, not really. I mean, I've pulled snakes before.
Okay.
I mean, I own reptiles, so.
You have a reptilian friend somewhere around there. That's right.
I do. I have 2 of them.
Let me get to the chat. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, let's see. We go back up a little bit. Some old comments. Cartridges are annoying. Having to swap them out if you want to play another game. I mean, I don't know. There was something satisfying putting a cartridge in a console and then just pushing the power button forward.
Yeah.
Like I'm starting an engine or something. 63 said best villain. Definitely. I think he's referring to Negan.
Yeah.
I agree with that. He is the best villain.
Boyfriend agrees with that too, because he loves Dead City. He cannot wait for that. So
Yeah,
Yep.
I agree with that. I mean, I like the governor. Don't get me wrong, but I think Negan's a better character.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I said it. Alana said it won't on the new Switch. It's going digital. This is from an older comment. I don't remember what we were talking about. That's 5-second memory for you. Sean said it's crazy that books still are going strong. Yep, that's one of those things that aren't going to go away. Books aren't going to go away. Landline phones aren't going to go away because when all the satellites crash and something an EMP happens or whatever, those things are going to still work. There's a reason why the military and others they still use that tech because it's very reliable. So that's not going away. Let's see. Kuro said, "I said yeah, I'm always ready." This is what happens when you come back
to the Crystal Protocol.
Oh, gotcha.
Before we played it, I was like, "Oh yeah," because he knew I had a hard time with the blocking. I was like, "It's not registering," because there's like this boss where it's like a 2-headed boss. That one drives me nuts.
Oh god, I remember that one.
Yep.
It's not no.
It was like around the train area.
Yes, you don't have much space. You didn't have many rounds, health, and you had to counter it in such a they wanted you to do it in such a specific way, and it feels awkward. It doesn't feel right at all on a controller. That's that whole game in a nutshell. Doesn't feel right at all on a controller what you're doing in it. And there is a little bit of shooting in it, but I was expecting it to be a little bit more closer like Dead Space. This wasn't it. So, George said, Cobragirl, do you play VR?
Yes.
That's right. You have a Quest.
Yes, right. I have a Quest too. Only reason why I got it is because of Saints and Sinners. Walking Dead.
That's a good game. I played it. It's really good. It's very, very good. Is it not the best one? They get in the mud. We get in the mud with that. When it comes to gameplay, it's the best Walking Dead game. I'll say that. When it comes to story and writing, no. It's the Telltale games.
Yep.
Let's see. Jason said, "Can we see the reptiles?"
Of course. If you guys want to, I can give one.
Sure. Sure. Why not? Why not?
Okay.
Let's see one of the little guys. I've seen the little reptile before. We're about to I always like when people bring their pets onto the screen. I mean, sometimes I see David's dog just show up in front of the screen, just completely stopping whatever the heck we're talking about because he wants some attention. Oh, there he is. There.
Me, baby.
There he is. He's curious. He's like, what am I looking at? Like, who's that?
She's usually camera shy.
Sorry. She's camera shy. Okay.
She's usually camera shy, but this is Juliet. She is my second bearded dragon I had, not my first one. But my first one was Jack, but he passed. This one's main.
Alana said, "Oh, a bearded dragon. I love those."
Oh yeah, they're really. If you ever want a reptile, highly recommend these guys. These guys are lazy. They're very active. Yes, you are.
I like her expression. Like the expression is just like. I love it. If you're gonna, I'm not a snake person though. I'll say that, but I do like those guys. They're they're cute.
Ball pythons are not the way to go for sure. No. But if you want to chill pets, these guys are definitely the way to go for sure. They're really good gaming buddies sometimes.
Does she ever like dig the claws into you or their little nails? Yeah.
Yep. They're not things. Hi. Like. Yeah.
I think of when I see the bearded dragons or I see iguanas, it reminds me of the 1998 Godzilla movie. I know this is very random because it was that was a mutated iguana.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it looked like a weird dinosaur.
She's
bad Godzilla movie.
Very. And I can't tell if she's happy or anything like that. She used to bob her head back and forth, like up and down kind of thing. But she doesn't do it anymore. And plus, she used to wave. Where are you going?
It's like I had enough of this. She
was like chilling in her heat lamp. So
how long have you had her?
I've had her for about 3, maybe 4 years. I mean, she's such a baby. Well, not really, but I guess you could say she's full grown. So the way how you could tell their age is like
Okay.
if you grab a measuring like thing. So you basically
Oh, she's
measure
big.
them. And yeah, her tail's very big. But he's
Look at
like
that.
very,
I love
very
these. I love these little creatures. I just not
oh
not the
yeah.
flamingos. Just not the flamingos. Not the flamingos. No, they're beautiful too. No, they're nice.
But
Just
yeah.
marketing's ruining them.
So-
Look at that. Yeah, I gotta get a pet again. It's been a long time since I've had a pet.
Yeah, I know
Mm.
I know the feeling. I mean, I used to have a dog and a cat, and so that's technically what my first tattoo is, basically. But yeah, he's like,
She's the best thing in your collection, I assume, right?
I would say, I mean, she's my child, so yeah. Anything about this lovely child? I mean, before she listens to my grandmother a lot and more than me, so like anytime she like knocks on the glass or anything like that, she'll like tilt her head, like yeah. She's like very curious. You can definitely tell. But there's like sometimes they're not curious, and then there's sometimes they're curious. But yeah, she's
How many hours does she usually sleep?
anytime I go to bed, she goes to bed, I guess.
Oh, okay.
I don't
You're
know.
both on the same sleeping schedule. That's good.
I mean, yeah, there's sometimes I have her like sleeping in her cage, like her tail going out this way, like basically like crawling herself up or whatever snakes do. Basically,
Hmm.
that's what she kind of does. But yeah, she's my little angel. But yep, there's one. I can go get the other one, but yeah, there's this one.
Man, we have such a great planet, don't we? Well, when you ignore all the bad shit that goes on in it, like little moments like that, having that little creature. By the way, once again, I think we've said it a couple times already, but for the audio listeners, that was a bearded dragon. So they're amazing. Love those creatures. I'm not a reptile person, but those ones like that, I do. I feel like they're more closer to. I don't mean this to upset any snake fans or anything out there. They're more closer to a traditional pet. You see how chill that little creature was, just sitting on the arm, just hanging out. There's times you can pick up a cat and the cat's like, no, this isn't happening right now, and the cat just claws you and jumps off and runs away. But that little dragon just sitting there, just chilling out. I'm just going to pretend my hand's the dragon.
Pets.
So.
This one is my leopard
Oh,
gecko.
look at that. I love the color pattern, like a cheetah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Basically, he's can't really hold still that well, is because his nails. Because like never leave crickets in the cage because they'll nibble on them. So he's my bad. His name is Bandit. Now, the only reason why I name him Bandit is because, one, his morph is a bandit. Second, I was a R6 player. So I was like, hey, he looks like a bandit. But they have some cute little eyes. And like sometimes you ever see them, you could see their tail.
Yes.
Basically.
Yep.
So it's like a snake tail, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can definitely see that. But he has a fat tail, basically. But yeah, he's my baby too. So you get a good look on him.
Like having a little dinosaur right there. There you go.
He is.
That.
But with these guys, but with these guys is that they're easy to take care of too. They're easy pets, basically. And they don't really require that much care in a way.
They take care of themselves for the most part.
Yeah, basically. And these guys, they hunt at nights. So if you get a cricket, you put it in nights, they'll hunt it down, basically. And usually you'll see their little tail wag. So that's like how they like do their prey, basically. So like a cat, basically. But yeah. And these guys do have teeth, but they have like fangs, I guess you could say. There's like it's basically like a snake kind of thing. Like snake on legs, I guess you could say, if that's actually a thing. But and
We'll make it a
they
thing.
do
Snake on legs.
they
All right.
they do hurt when they bite. I mean, it's rare for them to bite you as long as you don't have food on you or whatever, but yeah. Basically.
Mm.
Yeah,
Well,
they're very chill.
we had a nice animal show for you guys tonight. Reptiles. Well, I know George in the chat had a tarantula as a pet.
Ooh.
I do not like spiders.
I hold one before and I was like, "Oh, no, thank you." Like my hand was like red in a way. And I was like, I don't know if it was like I don't even know what they did with it. But yeah.
I can't do spiders. I'm sorry. No. As that I've said this on the show a while back, but I had a bad experience when I was a kid. When I was maybe like 7 or 8. I don't know if it woke me up or I just woke up and it just so happened to be there. But I woke up and I looked down at my arm and like literally to this day it was like one of the biggest spiders I've ever seen. It was like that this big crawling up my arm. I'm like, oh, okay, no. Slammed my arm against the wall because I was next to a wall when I was sleeping, and it like kind of smacked into it a little bit, and it was just kind of like twitching and all. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. No, Ever since then, no, I can't handle spiders.
No, that would be me like with a cockroach or something. I was like, nope, no, I mean, like, literally this one time, and I heard a cricket noise out of nowhere, and I put a cricket in Juliet's cage, okay? And I was like, what is that? Because I turned off the lights, and I was like, okay, it's peace and quiet. Turn off the lights, and then all of a sudden, you hear a cricket noise. I don't know if she saved the cricket in her cage, because I was looking for it at 3 in the morning. And I was like, oh, I can't sleep. What is making this noise? I thought it was YouTube for a second because I was like looking through YouTube and I was like, oh, maybe it's the TV or something. No, it's not. It's literally this cricket was stuck in her cage. And I was like, you better eat this damn cricket. Because I literally took her out of the cage. I was wondering maybe it's in my room somewhere because, have her scout around, look around for it. Sure enough, it was in her cage. And I was like, you better eat this cricket. And she didn't want to eat it. So I was like, I ain't forcing you to eat it. I'm gonna literally look at it and eat it. And that's a good thing why you have these things. Reason
that's
is
true. I mean, they can keep your insects at bay.
Exactly. You don't have to call an exterminator or anything like that. So literally.
I never thought of it that way. It's like if you have a bug problem and if you know where it is in a very specific area, you're just like, yeah, let's have him chill out there for a little bit. He'll deal with it.
I mean, she's never gonna save her food ever again because I couldn't sleep for 2 days. And all I hear is cricket noise out of nowhere. I was like, oh my god. Literally took you 3 a.m. to eat the damn cricket? Like, literally? So.
I'm so glad you mentioned a cricket. It just reminded me of a story. I was playing. I don't know. I think we were playing. It was me, Sean in the chat. We were playing on some hockey NHL game. It was like years back. There was this cricket in the room. And I don't have a fear of cricket or anything, but it was just like this really big cricket like that, that long. And I saw it come in, and then it just ran off. And I'm like, all right, I'll deal with that later. But this thing was loud, and it kept coming back out. And it kept going, it kept coming back out and going. Like this thing was like literally toying with me. I swear it was toying with me. And so I'm like, all right, I got to take care of this. So I tried to go get it, and then it scurries off. And I'm like, all right, like maybe it's finally gone because maybe I put the fear in it just going near it. And it comes back instantly. And now I'm just pissed off because I had an orange paint bucket or whatever it was next to me, one of those little waste buckets you usually keep around to throw stuff in. I picked it up and hurled it right at the thing, and it did this little jump dodge as it was it was like some Deadpool whatever character flipping over something. He did like this incredible jump over the little bucket. And then now I'm like, okay, this is personal now. Like this thing, it has to go. Grab the bucket, and I was literally trying to play whack-a-mole with this thing. Every time I was trying to smash, I'm like, I could have just got a paper towel, but I'm like, no, this thing's going. I just smashed it with the bucket. That was it. I know it's kind of a gruesome ending, but my point is, crickets can be annoying, and I swear they troll you. It's like wasps; they troll you. They 100% troll you.
Literally, if you have the lights on, you wouldn't hear it at all. But when you have the lights off, then you can't sleep. Period. Honestly.
Jason said he has. I can't see it. The text is so small. Dockhounds? Am I pronouncing that right? You talk about those little wiener dogs, little hot dog wiener looking dogs, whatever their names. Is that their names? You have 2 of them. That's cool. Oh hell, I hate spiders. Jones said, I'm more of a fish person. I have 2 tanks for now. That's okay. Another easy maintenance. I mean, it sucks having to clean the tank every once in a while, but
it does.
That's about it. Jessica said the cricket just wanted you to the cricket just wanted you to play with. He wanted me to, I wasn't gonna play it. I was not in the mood that night. I remember that night. There was something I was dealing with. I was not in the mood to play with a cricket. That's for sure. I was not. No, that it was. And I was nice. I gave it multiple chances to get away. Paw. I really tried. Like I didn't do a spider thing where you see a spider you instantly I want to crush it. But no, I gave that cricket multiple times at life, and it decided to troll me. That's where I had to go.
Yeah.
That's all right. But yeah, insects. Let's not get into insects. I hate wasps. I hate bugs. I love fall. That's the only thing I like about winter. The bugs are all gone, unless you got those few that are hiding in the house that survive all season. Because
the worst ones we have here, it's called like invisible insects, I think they're called, or like mosquitoes. I kid you not, these things are invisible, and they're the worst. Like literally, and I was like, oh my god, another reason why I don't want to go here anymore. Or live here, period, because of these things. But yeah.
Real quick, I just want to shout out Mr. E84 subscribed to with a Prime membership. I don't know that name, but thank you for doing that. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't have notifications on yet, so I don't know. Like I had to literally scroll up the chat. It popped into my head, but I apologize. Yeah. So bugs. All right. I'm not going down that. I'm not going down that road. So, yeah. So you grabbed a copy of Free Guy there just recently. So, I guess we could talk about that. Why not? So in the Balanced Gamers Facebook group community, we do votes now, or just like where we have a thing every Friday where we pick 3 movies. You guys suggest a movie, then we make a poll, and then whatever wins, we watch it in VR. And every Friday at 8 p.m. EST. And Free Guy won. That won the poll. It beat Megan. So it was pretty close for a while. Then that one shot up. I have not seen either of those films, so I didn't mind which one was going to win. Going into it, I knew what it was about. I know it's about an NPC, an AI in a video game that becomes self-aware and knows and then realizes that everything's not what it seems to be, and this ain't the real world and all that stuff. People used to tell me, well, not they used to, they told me that, it's very similar to Ready Player One, and if you like that or you don't like it, it's the same thing here. I'm like, all right. I was like, okay. So I watched it. Okay, there's some similarities between the 2 movies, but it's not like anything like Ready Player One, at least in my opinion. Okay, they're all both in a video game world and they're messing around with it and stuff like that, but it's not the same. But the thing that really surprised me with this movie, which by the way, I did really enjoy it. I think it's funny. It's got a lot of Easter eggs for video games up the wazoo.
Oh, absolutely.
Everywhere. It's actually, it is a video game movie, but it actually is an original idea. I don't remember a movie where it's like, okay, there's these AIs inside of this little virtual world that they become self-aware and all of this, and then like the creators of the game actually created artificial intelligence with inside it and all of that. Like they didn't realize they did that, and then trying to. I don't want to get into the whole story because I don't want to spoil everything. But it was unique. It was different, and I like different.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't Ready Player One. I don't care. No, it wasn't Ready Player One. But Ryan Reynolds absolutely hilarious at it, and in the movie, I find him funny in pretty much anything he's done. He played a very interesting character. He's the one who becomes self-aware and deviates away from the game path and just starts to figure out what's going on and stuff. It doesn't have an insane cast of people that you would recognize. There's a few in there. I noticed there's a few cameos. There was like Chris Evans popped up in it. There's a funny Avengers moment in it while he's there. So, I think Dwayne Johnson made he was one of the bank robbers. I looked at the IMDb for it. It says he was a bank robber. So he was masked, so you didn't see his face, but he was in the movie. Yeah, what did you think about that movie, Allie? Overall,
I loved it. It actually did give me a TV show series. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Upload. Basically, so it's basically on Amazon. It's called Upload. I forgot who was in it, but it's kind of like the same kind of thing in a way. So like the real world versus like video game world, basically. So like kind of like Ready Player One in a way. So, but this one was probably like one of my second favorite video game movies. And through the whole Chris Evans thing, that one was actually my favorite scene.
I love that scene.
It was definitely my favorite for sure. I was like, oh yeah, and I didn't know because I started watching Stranger Things last year. Like watched every single season.
Yeah, I still gotta watch the last season. Yeah, that's a great show. Yeah.
The last two, they're long. I stayed up until like 5 a.m. because I watched it at like 3 a.m. drop because that's usually when TV show series comes out and like, you know, certain like Hulu ones and all that stuff. Mainly it's 3 a.m. like Disney Plus because me and the boyfriend, we just got done watching Echo.
Okay.
Which is actually not a nice, really interesting show. Not that brutal comparing to Daredevil, but it really he was trying to wondering, oh, what is Maya's powers? Because like we were like wondering because it's like Native American, I think it was. Which she has an interesting power. And he asked me, oh, does she have powers? And I was like, I don't really remember. I never read the comics. I mean, there's certain things that I do remember, but yeah. But it's just it's a good show. It's a really good show. I love how they did the ASL sign language stuff, which I'm kind of learning it.
Oh, you're learning sign language?
So.
I know a couple words.
One of my
like this father and this is mother, or maybe I have them backwards or something like that.
I think so. I can do my nickname in sign language, like ALLI and then E.
Okay.
So, because I was in special ed classes and we had certain people that didn't know how to say words, so they did a lot of ASL. So there's like certain ones like I would know. But as I heard, because I'm going on a cruise with one of my cousins and one of their kids are deaf. So we had to learn how to do a little ASL basically. So yeah.
Okay. I've always wanted to learn sign. My sister's she's goes full fluent with the sign language and all that.
Right.
She could talk to anybody, but yeah, that's one like everybody's always asking like, oh man, I want to learn a language, but it just seems like it's so complicated and it'll take me forever. I think sign language is probably, I'm not saying it's easy, it's definitely hard, but I'm just saying like it's easier than probably learning French. You know what I'm saying? It's just
yeah, there's that. I mean, the funny thing is I can do this through Walking Dead wise. So any Walking Dead we watch, and my boyfriend knows this,
he's like, oh, we're learning Spanish. And we go on Daryl Dixon. We're learning French. And I was like, yeah, this is our learning. I mean, learning curse words in certain languages.
I know a few words. I know it. I know this in French. Omelette du fromage. Does anybody know what that means?
I'm trying to think what that is.
Omelette du fromage. Anybody? No?
No.
Giving the chat a second to figure that out. I'll say it one more time for all you audio listeners. Omelette, if I'm even saying this right, I could be butchering it. Omelette du fromage.
Oh.
Okay. Nobody said anything. It means cheese omelet. So if you go, yeah, Jason gets the reference. If you go to a place to eat there and you don't know how to read the menu at all, you just say that. Maybe they'll bring it to you. You're like, oh, they're asking what you want. You'd be like, just say omelette du fromage. You could say water. I'm sure they'll understand that. There, you get that. Jason said it's from Dexter's Laboratory. Yes, there was an episode in that old 98 cartoon, late 90s cartoon, where it's just a little boy who lives in his house, has a secret laboratory in his house. He's actually like an amazing genius, hides all of his technology and everything. There was something he did, I forgot, something backfired. He was doing some experiment, and when he went to bed, he woke up. He was trying to learn French or something with some machine, and then his sister comes in and messes with the machine, and all of a sudden when he wakes up, all he could say is omelette du fromage. That's all he could say. And somehow he goes through life, and he actually gets like rich and very popular just by saying these words, and does everything is going right for him, and it's amazing. And then when he wants to get back into his laboratory, it's asking for his password, and he can't get in because that's all he can say. And the self-destruct happens, and the house blows up.
Oh.
So, it's stupid. I don't know.
Crazy.
Yeah. Weird shit.
I mean,
anyway, yes. Yeah.
Certain languages I don't really know. I know certain what is it called? German words, because I am part German. And I know Spanish because I took a Spanish class during my 8th grade year.
Okay.
So.
Well, say something in Spanish and German. So anything. Any word. Could be any word. Just any word. I won't know what it is.
They're not nice.
I might, but
they're not nice.
That's fine. I mean, yeah.
Okay, I got.
You could say anything. I mean, there's no restrictions here. You could say anything you want, any word you want on here. Well, not any word.
So,
you can't say one word.
Anytime, because anytime if I want to curse at something, like say, fuck, basically in German it's ficken. So yeah. So anytime you want to curse at somebody, you don't want to use the actual F word. It's
ficken. I like that. It sounds fancy.
It is.
It's a very fancy way of F-bombing somebody.
And then obviously, I'm sure everyone knows what German and no means nine.
Yes, nine ficken.
Yep.
Ficken 9. There you go, Jason. Remember ficken. There you go. There you go.
You learn new things every day. So
honestly, I would like to just learn all the swear words in different languages because I mean, of course, if people, if you're at that kind of place where everybody knows the word, it's okay, you got to be careful. But if you're around a bunch of people who don't know any other language, you could just come out and say whatever the heck you want. And unless somebody pulls up their phone and be like, Google, could you translate that for me? And then Google says it.
Google says it.
Yeah, that's. I need to learn more. Oh, I know one in Spanish. It's what is it? I forgot. George told me how to say it, but it's something about shit or whatever. I don't know.
Melda.
Yeah,
Melda. I actually learned that from Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, does teach you some stuff.
I was like, I know certain these words. So, and then if you want to say idiot in Spanish, it's idiota.
Idiota.
So,
Idiota freaking mierda. I think I said those right. I don't know. Alana said, I sign since doctors have me labeled as speech impaired. So you do sign language, Alana. Maybe you could teach me. You know what? I've been wanting to learn sign language. Maybe one of these days you can teach me some hand stuff. I only know his mother, father. I think means boring or something like that. But I could spell my name originally.
This one's thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Or the chin.
Yeah.
For here. Thank you. Okay, that I'll remember. Thank you. If I encounter ones who are using sign language, I could do that. And then I could tell them omelette du fromage, frickin' and mierda. Just to kind of round it all off and cover my bases. So yeah, we kind of just jumped off of Free Guy right away, but the movie just kind of speaks for itself. Like if you like video games, you're gonna enjoy this movie. You want to have an original idea. I know it didn't blow the critics away. I think it has like a 71 on IMDb or something like that. But I find it was very original, and I had a fun time with it. I think at the end of the day, it's a fun popcorn flick. Don't expect anything. There are some sad, touchy moments in it.
Yeah,
but a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, like through movie wise, I actually rewatched Detective Pikachu.
Still haven't seen it.
And I was like, oh, like, because I don't remember the ending being sad, and then it was like happy, and I was like, oh my god, mixed emotions, like straight up.
Since I watched this in VR, for the longest time, I mean, it would take me years to watch a movie. Literally, I'm not even joking. Because gaming, I kind of got a lot of my storytelling in video games, and I absorbed it through that, and I kind of just went away from TV and movies. But ever since and just recently, I've only had it for a month. I've had the PlayStation VR 2 over there. It's under its little blanket. But I had that for a while. But once I got the Quest 2, I was like, oh, I can do all the other non-VR stuff. So like, you can't watch, well, not in the same way. You can't watch VR movies on that thing. It's just video games only, the PlayStation VR 2. But when I got that, I started to develop more of a watching habit again. I'm like, I'm gonna watch movies. Like even when we're not doing that Friday night thing that we do in the community, like I'll go into the virtual theater and big screen beta and sit there and watch, I don't know, whatever, like Clone Wars or some other random movie. And the reason I have health issues and stuff, so I can't really go out to the theaters and stuff as I used to anymore. And I can't sit there for that long. If I got to pause the movie, well, everybody knows it sucks when you got to get up during in a movie theater. You're gonna miss like 5-10 minutes or whatever.
Yep.
So it's bringing that feeling back again. Going to the theater, going and putting those goggles on, sitting in a virtual theater with there might be some others sitting around you. Like for anyone who hasn't really tried VR, that might be in the chat. I know some of you can't use it. And we're working on that. We're promising we are figuring out a way for you non-VR owners or ones who can't use the headset for medical reasons. We are working on a way for all you guys to watch it with us via Amazon Watch Party or something like that. There is a way. David is. We're gonna work on. Him and me are gonna work on that. But anyways, if you haven't used like a VR headset, really, well, yeah, check out some of the games. Like it's gonna blow you away. Whether it's Invaders Immortal or Horizon Call of the Mountain, Half-Life Alyx, whatever. When you put that thing on, it feels like you're just transported and you're in a different room or in a different place. And I also feel you think just about the movie, you're just sitting there, like it's gonna still feel like you're at home. No, you still feel like you went to a theater. Like it gives you that feeling, and it feels like you are there. The quality of it's good enough. Like it's not amazingly crisp or anything like that, but it does the job. And just since I've been messing around with that, I've been watching a lot more movies. So I've been playing less games, believe it or not, which is wild to think of. But you've used big screen beta, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think of that?
It's interesting.
not as good as going to the theater. I know that, but
not really. I barely go to the movie theaters.
yeah.
But it's fun. Me and my buddy, we basically messed around a couple times.
Okay.
We had like VR popcorn, so we were pretending to. I was literally like laying in my bed doing this. I was like, I'm not going nowhere else. I'm just laying in my bed. This is how I'm gonna play or watch a movie or whatever. So me and him are trying to figure out how to do this. So I connect my PC to the thing, because you can connect your PC to it. Because however, in Twitch, you can watch Twitch on there, but you can't log in. So it's
that's right. So you can only log into on big screen beta. You can only log into
through your computer.
Yes, through your computer you can do that. You can log into certain inbuilt apps like Disney. It works. It works with Amazon. I don't know about YouTube. I didn't try YouTube, but she's right. Like you can't log into Twitch.
Works. Yeah, YouTube works. We went back to memory lane. Their old videos with me and my buddy.
Oh God! Everybody's been asking post one of my videos. I'm like, I don't think you want to see that.
Embarrassing. I know, like embarrassing. I mean, I didn't even sound like myself because some people sound like. Because sometimes when I do like my intros, sometimes I would sound like British or whatever because I have like an accent. So basically, and I was like, oh, because I've had comments saying, "Are you from the UK?" and all this stuff. I was like, no, I have friends. That
I just thought of that, and I'm like, no, that's got to be wrong. That can't be right. No,
I was like, no, I have an accent. I mean, there's times I'll talk UK out of nowhere, like if I'm panicking, and
I mean, I could kind of hear it a little bit. I could see why some people say that, but when I watched a few more of your streams, I'm like, nah, it's not UK. It's not British accent.
No,
it took me a second.
Or it could be just Allie's stupidity, as usually during the nighttime I'll say random stuff and like, yeah, stupidity.
As you say that, you hit something. I love that. It's perfect timing. So.
Luckily, I didn't hit this little guy.
Oh no, then this would be a very different turn in this right now. But we don't want to do that. So you know what? I want to just go into one of the main things I wanted to talk about. It's I'm sure you know what environmental storytelling is, right? That's when I could paint you a picture of what it is. If anybody in the chat who doesn't understand what environmental storytelling in video games, you don't know? Okay, perfect, fantastic. I can explain it to someone. Okay. It is when they're designing a game, developers will have objects and things in certain places. You don't know either, Alana. Perfect. So, you know what? I'll make it even simpler for you guys. Fallout. Let me give you an example. Some of you have sure played Fallout. Walk out into the wasteland, right? You look at a building or something. You go inside the house, and you notice, like, you could, by just walking around in there, you can see the people that were there before, and like you could kind of piece together, like the environment's kind of telling a story of like what was there before. That's one way of doing environmental storytelling. Now, if you play The Last of Us. Do you remember Ellie, when you go to the Ellie? I got Last of Us on the mind. Remember Ellie when you go into the it's when Joel and Ellie are with the two survivors. I don't want to, in case nobody's played it. When they're with them briefly and they go into that like
Henry and Sam.
Yes, when they go into that lived-in area underneath the sewers and stuff, and you walk through there and you see that they had a school and they were doing all this stuff. They were trying to really survive in this horrible world and stuff. And they built a little community around that. And as you're walking around in the environment, you can see the little stories that were left or that happened there. That's environmental storytelling. It's like when you design an area of the game to explain, or best way I put it is to like show what happened before, but that's not always the case. It could be something that's currently happening. But one way of looking at it is how
there's been notes left around you can collect, like you can,
right?
Yeah, basically the notes, like in Last of Us Part 2, you find different notes from different survivors. Yeah, basically it tells a story like what happened to these people, and
it's like, yeah, when you go to the have you seen Prometheus? It's aliens from one of the alien movies.
No, I don't think I have.
Okay, well, it's a perfect example of that. This is a movie, but environmental storytelling. There's a part where they're on an alien structure base or something, and they see all of these like suited character bodies pile up on top of a door, and you're like, well, what happened there? Like something clearly happened, and they start like watching like the holograms and stuff and piecing it together and stuff. That's environmental storytelling. It's something that's in the environment that's trying to tell you something.
Right.
Fallout does that. I played Fallout 76 recently, and I don't like this Fallout game, by the way. I stopped playing it. I like the other ones, the single player focused ones. But there is a when you're going through the world, you find these survivors of the new time. They found these like paramedic uniforms and firefighter uniforms, and they put them on, and they're trying to be like heroes and trying to save people and stuff like that with whatever way they go about doing it. But there's like a story. You find them, some of them, you know, they passed, they died, or whatever they were trying to do. But you find their bodies, you find where they were at. You see all these little things around explaining what they were doing and what happened. You list like Ali was saying, you find like an audio thing or read a note or something that will be left behind. And then you go through and just see what happened with these people, and you want to know more. And FromSoft Games does a very good job at doing that. That's like games like Elden Ring, Bloodborne, the Dark Souls, where you just look around the environment. It's literally telling you what's going on in the world. It's like those games have a very loose story in it. And it's mostly just look around the world and figure it out kind of shit. So that I always find that very fascinating in games where Last of Us does both. I mean, it has a very amazing story, and then it has when you're going through the world, you could see all the stories that are riddled throughout. David chimed in and said, the environmental storytelling can also set the stage of your storyline without having to tell you like a note or book or narrator. The environment can also hide you alone with the story without the designer having to specifically point it out to you. Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's not. This is me talking now, not David. But no, he's right. Sometimes it'd be little hidden cues, and you could see. I mean, it could be literally as something simple as seeing a doll on the floor, a kid's doll, and then like, why is this here? It's like, what is
like
all
it's
the writing
a story
on the wall?
To tell, basically.
Yes, exactly.
I would say it's like the past to the present, basically, like the Dark Picture anthologies, for example, where there's like I think it was Man of Medan, we had all these skeletons, and it tells a story like what happened to these people. Apparently they got scared to death or something, you know, like without like spoiling it, obviously, but regardless, but it basically just tells you like this is either if it's, you know, danger, not danger, or like, you know, like what happened to these people. Like you learn more about it when you find more of these pages, or learn more about like what happened in the past, basically.
Yeah. And I always appreciate when developers go out of their way and do stuff like that. I played games where it's like, okay, it's just focus on the main story. If when you don't do that, like it isn't a lot of games, but like when the times I played games where they don't do that, then the world's like so vanilla. There's a white wall and a concrete floor. And you walk to this next area, and it's just
There's times these stories can actually be true, though. Like
it's true.
There's times it will be true. Basically.
Sometimes the developers put something in there that's actually something that happened with them or whatever the case might be, and they just put it and they insert it into the game, which is like always
a
cool.
Little Easter egg, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, the reason why most of us love Easter eggs because it teases different games, or like you learn more about what on earth is going on, basically.
And Naughty Dog does a fantastic job with that. It's just like you get lost in the world.
Yeah,
Uncharted. Yeah, of course. The Dark Pictures games, House of Ashes, that has a lot of that in it. All of them do, really. It's I feel like it is a very unspoken art form in video games where a lot of us take it for granted, but it is a lot of work and time involved into designing a lot of these areas in these games. And when I see that, that just really it makes me appreciate. And I talked to someone about it once who worked on it. He's like, oh, nobody ever talks about it. And it's like in our game, I was like, no, Walking Dead. I mean, we were just talking about the Walking Dead. So the Telltale Walking Dead game, there's many different moments like that in it. But the one I think I mentioned this to Allie earlier before the show. There's a part in the first season, first season, episode 4, I want to say. It's when they first arrived, when they left the right when they got off the train and they go into the town, and they get surrounded and they run into the house to kind of hold up and wait for the horde to pass. And you just by walking around in the house, you find out like, okay, this was a family that had a dog. They there's a son and a mother and a father, and it gets kind of sad, that section of the game with what happens. But yeah, like it when you do this stuff in games, it makes everything feel more lived in. It feels like it's alive, the world. And I think the best games that seem to do it, I mean, they all do it well, but like post-apocalyptic games seem to really hit the nail on the head with that stuff. Yeah. Even what's the name of that game? The Horizon series. What came before and all that, and a game I'm going to recommend people who like Horizon. Doesn't play like Horizon, but it's very similar universe. It's an old game from the 360 generation. Enslaved: Odyssey to the West. Nobody's ever heard of this, probably. But it has a very similar type of universe where very few people left, very colorful, post-apocalyptic with machines running around. It has that same kind of formula. I remember somebody telling me about this like a decade ago, and I'm like, I don't even know what this is. I'm like, all right. It's like, yeah, no, go play it. I played it. Very underrated game. I don't know if it still holds up, but at the time I thought it was really, really good. And that game has tons of environmental storytelling throughout. So, definitely take a peek at that one. But what do you guys think in the chat when it comes to that element in games? What games do you think of? Oh, Kuro, you've played that game. How'd you like it? Let me know. But yeah, when it comes to environmental storytelling, what games come to your minds? What is it? What do you think of? Doesn't have to be post-apocalyptic because all games kind of do it to some degree. But what is the one game that comes to your mind where you feel like the environment is like whispering to you, like it's telling you something that you may notice, you may not notice, but it's there. I know I'm being deep now, but let me know. Like what game comes to mind? I mentioned a few already. I'm curious what you guys have to think of. But I don't know how they would I was thinking about how much more that could evolve in games. I don't know. Like this is like, I guess just if graphics get better and things look more realistic and you can do more and add more stuff. Alana said Life is Strange series. Yeah.
Yeah.
You look around at the photos, and then when you're walking around her house in the first season, there's a lot going on there. You can just look at the refrigerator, and there's little notes, and there's a lot of little stuff you can miss all over the place. By the way, that's a great series. I love Life is Strange series.
I'm currently doing that for Platinum.
Oh, that's right, you are.
Yep.
Which one are you playing?
The first remastered.
That's
I went backwards like I did with Dark Picture Anthologies. Technically, the Quarry was the first game that I got Platinum. The Quarry was the first one I got Platinum.
Okay.
So I don't know what the other one was. I think it was probably, I forgot what the other ones were. But I'm slowly but surely getting there. But There's times that I'll just have to look on YouTube like, oh, this is where I need to go and all this stuff. I doubt it if I know where all the tarot cards are for
I cheated. I don't care.
Corey. I played that game nonstop when it first got announced, when it first got launched. And I was like, oh, this is Until Dawn 2. I mean, there's certain things that are referenced from Until Dawn. And, you know, the sad part about this game that actually still pisses me off until this day is they deleted a scene.
Okay.
Which was a scene where I think it was Ryan, what is her name? I forgot what the heck her name is. Kierly, Lori, not Lori.
I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember the name.
Yeah, her, and then I think it was Mr. Hackett. Basically, so they're in this basement, right? There was more stuff to it. And how I knew this is that it was a deleted scene that someone posted. And I don't know who on earth deleted it. And this is like, was in the game.
Okay.
Was a long time ago. And then I guess it got deleted or something. And I was like, huh, interesting. I guess it was like their recent update or whatever. So basically, it tells us more about why, I think it was Ryan saying, oh, he was feeling sorry for Mr. Hackett and all this stuff, explaining. And I was like, what on earth? Why would they delete this? I mean, this gets more into the game.
Yeah, that's a pet peeve of mine, actually. They sometimes they decide to delete scenes that are so crucial. I'm just like, why did you do that?
Why? I mean, like, yeah, you can add an extra hour to this game. Like, regardless, I hate listening to the podcast at the end when you're done with the damn game.
Oh, God.
Like, oh,
no,
yeah.
I hated that. No.
They literally post the podcast first before the game came out. And I was like, do I really want to hear this over again? Like, seriously? So it's like, oh, yeah, you find all the trophies and all that stuff. I mean, the difficult one I had was something about pack or something. So I mean, I'm trying not to spoil it for the ones.
Yeah, I'm trying not to say anything either.
There's a trophy that you have to, I guess, do something about a wolf pack kind of thing. I guess I don't know.
I remember this.
I know that because if you do play the Corey, I highly recommend playing it solo. If you play it with a friend, you can't play it with a friend. It's more of a couch co-op kind of thing,
right?
And basically, you can actually play with a friend, but that friend's going to be control of all the controls, basically. And how I knew this is that one of the cast members, I think he plays Dylan, he live streamed this on Twitch.
Okay.
He had, I think, Justin, the one who plays Ryan.
Oh, cool.
He had Sonone, I think her name is. Who played I forgot what the heck her name is or her character's name is. But literally, they did this last year and it was a Halloween kind of event. They did it for like 2 or 3 days. So, and it was pretty fun to see that. I mean, the actor who plays Jacob was in it. And
that's cool.
Basically it's so awesome to see that. And yeah, I was like, oh wow. You know, it's like watching them actually play their game because there is a video on YouTube who they all were all in a camp together. Like some of the cast were there and they were all playing it. So basically guessing what happened to this character and all this stuff. I mean, there was mistakes, and believe me, I want to question myself. How did this person die? Because technically, if you find this bracelet and it's silver, right? So how did this person die in the cage with this other thing? I was like, oh, and chat was mad at me. And one of my viewers, his name is Jacob, and he's like, you killed me again and again. And I was like, oh, yeah, there's that.
I wonder how that feels. I don't know because I've never been, but like, it doesn't even have to be video games. Like an actor watching their movie or a movie that they were in, or you're playing a video game that you starred in. Like, how does that? That's gotta feel weird.
Regardless,
awesome at the same time.
regardless in the Expanse, I regret killing.
Oh, you could, yeah. So that's that cat's out of the bag. So I'll just say yes. There's characters can in the Expanse game, and that's funny. That's how I. That's kind of one. That's how I discovered you. And I did. The interesting thing was before I played the Expanse, I was like, you know what? Like I really need to get like I need to see what other people are doing on Twitch again, because I did that a lot on YouTube, and I'm like I miss that. I met and still talk with so many people I've talked to back in the day. I'm like I really got to start doing that with Twitch. And then I pick up the Expanse, I play the game, I did the same thing, I made the wrong decision, and Isabel's character dies. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
sorry, I had to say it. We already said it. I'll say it again. I'll just say this: it's a telltale. Different decisions you make, different outcomes can happen. You can play the game, never see it, or never not. So there's multiple different variations of it. So when I did that, I beat the game. I'm like, what did I do to mess up? Like I thought I did everything. I'm not gonna talk about what it is or anything. But I looked it up on Reddit, and then I'm looking at the answer, and then I see some random, I don't know who it was, but it was just some random person was just in there. Maybe one of Isabel's regulars in the chat, and they're like, oh, this person's streaming. It was so vague too. It was like, this person's streaming this game right now. It was like the Expanse or something. I'm like, all right. So it was an old post. For some reason, I never click on links. I click on this post. Isabel was live, and I watched a good portion of the stream. Like, oh, this is a cool person. Like, yeah, sure, I'll follow you. I didn't even know she was in the game or anything. No, dude, that's the funny part about this.
I didn't know either, and I was like, I was dealing with hurricane situation here, and it barely hit us here, and I was like, oh, wait a second, because I was scrolling down, like, because I think it was Telltales that retweeted this, like, this person's streaming this, and I was like, oh, yay, let's redeem myself. Let's just put a sub and redeem myself. So that's what I did. And then I kind of went a little overboard because, I felt bad, and I was like, yeah. I mean, Maya's my favorite character in there. Camilla Drum is my favorite. Fun fact, Kara G, me and her have the same birthday.
Oh, really?
I kid you not.
That's awesome.
I asked Isabel and say, hey, am I a belter? And I literally had to ask her. I was like I messaged her and I was like, oh, does me and Kara G have the same birthday? She's like, oh, yes, you and Kara G have the same birthday. And I was like, oh, does that make me a belter now? And I kid you not, I don't know if she wasn't mad at me over it, but I was like, oh, yeah. But anyways, regardless, I never knew anything about The Expanse. I never watched the TV show series. I mean, I started watching the TV show series to learn more about Camilla Drummer. And this is what I said. And I think she was streaming around episode 3, or maybe no, episode 3 or 4, where there's a person that you meet is also from The Expanse. And I was like, hey, this is, I never got a chance to finish The Expanse because the first episode is literally 1 hour long, legitly. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, I was like, oh, so this is the reason why I watched it in the first place. I watched season 2 instead of season 1, not to know about that other character. And then Isabel's like, oh, you gotta watch the whole thing. And I was like, okay, sure, let's rewatch the whole thing again. And fair enough, that's what I did.
Yeah, so sorry if you're listening to this, Isabel. But my favorite character in that game is Camilla Drummer, because she's my favorite character in the Expanse show. Had to say it. Sorry.
Oh.
Very good. You did very, very good. Very good character in that game. But can you accept that? Can I pick Kara G over you? Sorry.
But yeah, we love Isabel. We love her. She's amazing. I enjoy her personality through her streams, and I love watching it. Not because I'm modding her stream, because I was like surprised, like, oh, I think it was like Shadow Potato, the one who messaged me saying, hey, do you want to be East mod? And I was like, sure. I was like, wow, this is the first time, because this is like legitly, like, actually meeting an actress, like, because I didn't really know that much about her and all that stuff, getting to know her and all that stuff, like her personality, it's just so touching. And I mean, the time that what is it, that I played Party Animals with her and Katie Benz, and
Katie, I've talked to Katie a few times.
I kind of went a little overboard. I went back and forth, gifted subs to Isabel, to Katie, and then she's like, Allie! Like I hear her through Katie's mic in the way, and I was like, oh shit. And I mean, she knows my full name, so if I ever get in trouble, she knows my full name.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad she's not here right now, because she'd be like, her head would be way too big. Just all the compliments. So there's
but yeah, she is my favorite streamers. And then she like said to Katie, so like, oh, Allie's a sweetheart, and then like Katie's like, oh, she's a mod in your chat, and I was like, yeah.
Oh, don't let the mod power get to you. Don't let it go to your head.
I know. I was like, oh,
gonna lose it. We'll take it right back. Don't abuse it.
Yeah.
So that was what was funny about that. It was because like I watched her stream. I even watched the second stream, and then the third stream, because I'm stupid. I rarely go down and look at the abouts. I started after that situation. I started looking, but I'm like, she just mentioned it in the stream. I'm like, wait, what? You're in the? It's like, yeah. I'm like, what are the chances of that I go into this random thing talking? It was, the person didn't even say like, this is Maya, she plays, go check out her stream. No, they just said, hey, go watch this person. That's all it basically said. I'm like, I don't know why I even clicked that, because I go on forums or posts all of the time. People post all kinds of random shit links all over the place, and I never clicked them. But for some reason, I clicked that one, and yeah, that's how I met Isabel, through that. So it's weird.
Again, she's definitely a sweetheart.
She's really nice.
Like really.
Her and Potato. I've talked with Potato too. He's real like. Ugh, just dropped the battery over there. Sorry. They're. The thing when anybody who's in the chat still, when you watch streamers, I'm curious, are you there for them, what they're playing, or are you there for them, like, because you like listening to them, you like their personality? I care way more about the personality of a person. If I'm talking to you, that means I like you.
Exactly.
I mean, I like you as a human being. Like, you're a good person. Like, if I wouldn't be there. I'd be like, I got other shit to do. I've been to other streams where there's some a-holes. Really, not everybody is not everybody is nice on Twitch. That's true. It's not true. That's true for everything.
True on
so yeah, I just gave you a shout out before, Cobra, but I'm gonna give. Hold on a second. I know how to do this now. See, I'm learning. I know. I'm getting better. Shout out. I'm gonna shout out Bravocado. That's who we're talking about right now. So. Bravocado. And I remember asking her about the whole name behind her her channel, and I'm just like, I forgot what it was, but I don't know. She's actually going to be, I could say this now because she confirmed it, and she wanted to come on. She'll be on her show on the 28th. So I'll ask her about the Bravocado name again, because I don't remember. I assume she liked the avocados. That's not what it is. But somebody has like a name like that, you assume they like the food or whatever. No, it's not that at all. I was like, okay, that threw me for a loop. Shout it loud, Jason said. Yeah, okay. Jones said, I would say it's both for me. Oh, you like the gameplay, and you like the person who's playing the game. So yeah, well, it just depends on what game they're playing.
Like, again, if someone beats a fool on stream, that's just how they are. Like, I know, because I love playing with Isabel. I love playing with her because me and her played Man of Medan, and we laughed our asses off. And she thought that I broke the game because in co-op, somehow her character was looking down so many times. And I was like, oh, yeah. So, and then we went to settings and we were trying to figure this out. And I was like, maybe this is a glitch or something, because, you know, certain games will have glitches, especially if you play co-op. And we know this for experience, because my boyfriend knows this, especially our long road ahead to Dark Picture Anthology games to Platinum, which, little hope we had issues with one trophy, which we have to do that for solo-wise, which glad we got that done. But yeah, it's really fun. I mean,
you just see, now you keep mentioning trophies, and I didn't mention it before, but I love collecting achievements, trophies. I love the metagame. I love that's doing that stuff. I haven't been doing it as much lately just because I've been busy, but yeah, I don't know how many platinums you have on PlayStation. I probably have like 158, give or take. I know that's a lot. I know people thousands, so that's nothing in comparison.
I mean, if I do enjoy the game, I will platinum it, like Dead Island 2, because I platinumed that with the boyfriend, because, you know, if it's co-op, solo, or whatever, if it's an easy platinum, like the not Dark Picture Anthologies, but what is it? Not Little Hope. Jeez Louise.
House of Ashes, Little Hope, Man of Medan, and that Devil in Me or something. There's that one.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, like, what is it? The Telltale's games, for example.
Yes.
Funny thing is, I got the Expanse Platinum twice.
Oh, I still gotta do
The
that.
main one and the second one. I'm still doing the trophies for the Archangel DLC, which I only need like one trophy for that. But there's no platinum for that, so thank God. But I think the one trophy that had me the hardest would be The Last of Us Part 2.
Which one was that?
For PlayStation, like
which trophy you said was the hardest? Was there a specific trophy that you had a problem with?
It was finding all the workbenches. Most likely. That, and then thank God that I don't have to find 50 states of the little coin things, which that was kind of a little hard, but I think the cards were hard too as well. But still, you just have to like sometimes go to a chapter and then, you know, it tells you what you missed and all that stuff, which I like what certain games do that. And then other games don't do that. And you're like, what am I missing? But
that's I need to. Oh, I was gonna say something. There it goes. Boop. It's out of my head. Well, yeah. When it comes to trophy hunting, the thing I really love about it is, okay, let's say it's a single player game, whatever. You beat some people, they play the game, they beat it, and then they're done with it. They put it away. When you have like a list of achievements or whatever trophies, whatever you want to call it. It adds more replay value to the game. So you want, especially if you really love a game, you can play it more. It's something to do after you've done whatever the main thing is in the game. Yeah.
If you mess up like a storyline game, for example, if there's like certain options for it, like the Telltales, they're so easy. The platinums are so easy for that. Yeah, I know that because I think it was the Walking Dead ones. Those were so easy. I was like, I cannot believe that. Like, literally, you just beat the game out of that. And I was like, what? That's crazy. So, because
that was a marketing decision, by the way. I was told they made, because they to get all those trophy hunter guys to buy the game. They make the just put the list, just beat the game, give them the platinum.
Right. And then, I mean, the Expanse, I had a little bit issues trying to find certain trophies. Like, you literally have to explore around, as they say. Explore around, because you'll miss certain things.
I did.
Especially if you go through trophies.
Yeah. Some characters may even die if you don't do certain things, miss certain things.
Exactly.
Hint, hint. I'm just not going to say what they are, but definitely interact with as much stuff as you humanly possibly can. Otherwise, it may affect the outcomes of certain things. And to be fair, though, I haven't seen, because Isabel's character can be throughout the whole game. I haven't played that way yet.
Mhm.
We'll say this. Good. The death scene, very expansive, very just like the show, which I appreciated. So I haven't played the other side of it yet, but maybe is a going in that one part is maybe a better than the other way. I don't know yet. I haven't played the other side
There's
of it.
There's just a certain part that I just don't understand is that there's a situation and basically you don't hear the sound of that situation, which literally, like, I don't know how to explain this without spoiling it.
Yeah, I mean,
But
we already talked about his character.
I was just, like, wondering about it because I seen them replay. I think it was Deck 9. They were replaying it, and Isabel was there, and it was first time her playing controller on the game. It's funny.
David said, Mike is a trophy hound, has to have every single one of them. Yeah, kind of.
I mean, if you enjoy the game, then you will desperately need that trophy, or desperately want to be one of the cool kids, I should say, because another reason
bragging rights at the end of the day. That's all it is.
I played the Corey many, many times. One, I couldn't get no trophies off of PC because there's no, you get all the trophies, and then if you make a mistake or whatever, they're not there, basically, because it's just you put the you're supposed to save it on the other side, but I was like, yeah, just because you need like certain save spots, and I guess that's how I screwed up because I didn't have all the trophies on Steam for the Corey.
Yeah, sometimes it requires you to read a guide beforehand, but I don't like reading a guide beforehand before I'm playing a story game. No, that just kind of ruins it. Let's see. Jessica said, I have 3 plats. LOL. Kuro said, yeah, we did, referring to something I don't remember. I apologize. Okay. Jones said, yeah, I like getting all the achievements. Jessica has a question for you. Cobra, what is your YouTube?
I can link it if you want.
Yeah, sure. Link it in the chat.
Okay.
Jones also said, yes, I love the fact it will push you to replay when it's not really a game you would. Exactly.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
When I was growing up, you had like a couple games to play. You had to play the shit out of it because that's all you had. You had to be a long time before you get another game, so you better make it count. So for kids now, kids are so spoiled now. They can just get Game Pass for $10 a month and play all kinds of games. But it just has replay value. And it really comes back to Where's Waldo. And I'm not going back to the Flamingo thing with Where's Mingo. I'm just saying, but back in the day with Where's Waldo and the back of the books, at least the 2 I had, maybe all of them had it, maybe they didn't. If you go all the way to the back of the page, it has checklists for everything. It's extra things you can do in it after you found Waldo and all of his friends. And then you would look at like it would be a checklist for one of the page. It'd be like, find the guy jumping into the pool or whatever, or find the cat that's scared or something like that. And basically it has little check boxes and you would just go through them all and stuff. And that's where I think the whole achievement trophy addiction came from, was from a Where's Waldo book, for me at least. So, but yeah. Okay. You have it in the, you put your link in the chat. So there you go. Jessica, right there. Follow that. I don't know. I'm sure I'll probably don't. I'm going to be honest with you. I'll have to follow that later. But
if you ever want to see the Manament Dan experience with Misa, it's there. It's 5 hours. So
5 hours. That's what I wanted to bring up. I noticed. I got to ask you, how do you do this? Because I haven't talked to anybody who streams yet who does this. A lot do it. But I've seen some of your streams go for 9 to 10 hours. So is that comfortable for you, or is it, how many breaks do you take? Like
it depends on the game.
Okay.
It really depends. I mean, if it's midnight releases, like what is it? Last of Us 2 remaster kind of thing that's happening this Friday. Yes, a midnight stream. Yeah, it depends how
much grind I have into the game, because certain games I can go longer, and then there's certain ones that I don't go longer. I basically try to do at least 5 hours. But yeah, I think my highest stream was 19 hours. Yeah.
I can't. I wish. I mean, there's not enough energy drinks in the world for me to do it.
I've never done a 24 hours, and me and the boyfriend were talking about this because he's coming down here eventually. I don't know when. We don't know yet because we're working on what couch games to play.
Cuphead.
And
Overcooked.
Basically, yeah, that's actually on the list because Overcooked 2, I think it was. So because he was like, oh yeah, let's do like a 24 hours, me and him, like stream wise. And I was like, he ain't gonna have that much time for me though. He's here to visit me. But we do plan to do a stream together eventually.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I was thinking of doing one this year for my birthday. Which I'll be turning 24, which kind of would make sense. But
once again, you're making me feel old. I'm going to be 34 in May, so yeah.
I mean, I feel like I'll just start with like 12 hours because that's basically I
feel like I'm done after 3. Like I barely can do 3, let alone 9, 10, 11. I mean, I respect anybody that can do that. I can't do it.
Right. I mean, I guess because I'm young, and I mean, I'll take breaks here and there.
I mean, that's true. When I was like 24, 25, I did have some game sessions where we played like Left 4 Dead and one of the old Star Wars Battlefront games. Then we play Call of Duty, and we're talking this has got to be like 8 hours at least for all that shit. So yeah, I get it. I just didn't. I've done it. I suppose. I just haven't done it in a entertaining way.
Yeah, basically.
That's what it is. The longest I've heard somebody, I think I told this to Isabel the other night. The longest I've heard somebody go for that I've talked to, I'm sure there's more, 29 hours. And I'm like, did you take like an hour break, like naps? Like, no, just, maybe a bathroom break. And I ate on the stream. I'm like, no, 29 hours. And I was like, all right, did you do it for some charity or something? They're like, no. I'm just like, no,
yeah, it's like, I wouldn't do it, honestly. Like, I wouldn't.
At that point, that's not healthy.
There's times that my butt will hurt, and I was like, yeah, I'm done. So that's usually when that will happen. Or like if I'm playing a PC game and my hands start cramping, because I never get like controller cramps, I guess you could say. But
it's very rare for me to get controller cramps.
Yeah, same.
Keyboard, I'm just starting to use a keyboard and mouse now to play games. Yeah, that's going to take me a long time. Going from this to this, like, not the same. So
it's hard because I know the experience. I mean, I played Mad Max with mouse and keyboard. It was fun, very fun.
I'll learn. It'll get there.
I know it was what is it? Middle Earth Shadow that I'm playing?
Yes.
Yeah, that one. So I've had problems. There's actually, I showed you the clip where I was flying out of the air. Right. I was like, how did this happen? I got hit. And then all of a sudden, like, character flew up on top of the air. And I was like, oh my God. I'm literally like, because I'm in a group called like Life and Gaming Lag, basically, which that's obviously what that is. So they say that I'm kind of the queen of finding glitches, because it doesn't matter what game I do, either it's like me breaking a game and then it's glitches. Like, for example, the Avatar game, I literally playing it mouse and keyboard, and I was sliding somewhere and then like realizing what just happened. Here I am falling off the map.
Yeah, that reminds me of Bethesda glitches in like Fallout or Skyrim, or Fallout, like the big Deathclaw creature. There's been times like if it insta kills you and it smacks you in the face, you go flying up to the moon.
Glitches are fun, especially in the Dark Picture anthologies. What is it? The last one, which was the Devil in Me, that one.
Yeah, it's the Devil in Me.
Oh. Here, like me and the boyfriend we're playing co-op, right? And he said, "You're floating." And I was like, "I'm floating? How am I floating?" We literally had to go past an area, and I think it was Charlie and Mark, I think it was, or something like that. So here I am just floating, like, "Oh yeah, you're Jesus, you're floating." And I was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Take a picture of this. I want to see this." And like he literally sends it to me, and I was like, "I'm floating." On my screen, I'm like sitting still. I mean, there's a couple times I broke the damn game where I'm doing a T-pose. And I was like, "Oh my god," there's like these certain highlight videos, and it's just doesn't matter what game it is, I'll just break it by either being in a T-pose or something hilarious or something.
Oh, I used to live for finding glitches. I did this back on going back original Xbox, like the 2005-4 days, and
yeah.
I played games like Star Wars Battlefront 2 that came out at the time, and I would just I would find all of these glitches. I would somehow able to glitch in any wall, climb over mountains you're not supposed to go over, go underneath the map, take the little rolling droidicas from Star Wars. Like you could do that. I used to play in leagues and Star Wars Battlefront 2 back in the day, and they had to ban the droidica because when the droidica's like rolling around in its ball form, if you go next to a wall and then he opens himself up, half of his body will be like on the other side of the wall, and he just walks right through like casually. And people were using that class to get around the map quickly to take bases and stuff, and they had to literally completely ban a character class in the league, which was funny. But yeah, I used to glitch in there all the time. Like you could take an X-wing, fly out of the hangar, and if really weird glitch, because once you fly out of the hangar, that's it. Like you can't get out until you come back in or go somewhere else and land. But if you went into the X-wing or wherever, doesn't have to be an X-wing, any of those ships, all you had to do is hit the A button over and over and over. It would like go up, go down, land, up, ascend, land, ascend, land. You keep doing that as you're going out of the hangar, and then you're still doing that while you're outside in space. When you're in space, you're supposed to be. That's when it triggers the flying stuff. But if you can keep doing that, you can actually get on top of like the Star Destroyer in Star Wars and land on it, and then run out and run around the ship like on the space thing. Like it's hilarious. So that game was loaded with glitches, but
the recent glitch, I know that everyone says this is the worst game and it's a Walking Dead game, and we're talking about the Walking Dead game here. And yes, me and the boyfriend have played it, and I was about to get platinum for it, but the glitches the trophy is glitched. So he's been having issues with that, and so has I. And so here I am at the last part where basically through the TV show series, and literally the big ass tank comes around and you're trying to destroy it or whatever. So I'm playing this one character, and I think it was, which one was it? I think it was somebody. Basically, out of nowhere, I guess I resurrected this person. Oh no, I was playing as Carol, right? I died, right? I resurrected. I don't know how on earth this happened. I resurrected, I think it was Lori in my playthrough. And I was like, she died in my playthrough. How is the hell is she alive? And I was like, I recognize this voice. Yes, it's the same Lori from the show, because her voice actors from the show is actually from the game too, which, fun little Easter egg.
That's awesome.
But I was like, oh my god. And the most embarrassing part is I think I had one of the developers watching me witnessing this.
I mean,
and I was like,
I feel
god.
awful. Oh my god.
And I was like, oh I mean, best of luck if you guys ever do a DLC or something, because everyone's telling this game is very shitty and all this stuff. Regardless, I just played it because I was like, oh, it's a what if situation. What happens if Lori's not dead? She's part of the group. What happens if, Shane takes over the group and instead of Rick and all that stuff? And that game got us so interested, me and the boyfriend, because we're like literally the Walking Dead couple. But literally, I was like, why? There's certain things that are good about this game. Yes, you have certain characters from the show that decided to go to their roles, like Beth, T-Dog, Lori, and I think the guy from the prison, one of the guys from the prison, has actually played his character from the show as well. And literally, we were just brainstorming. So basically, it's crazy. But I just wish that I know there was a game that was in the development and then they stopped it, and it was like a Walking Dead kind of game.
I think I know which one you're talking about. I remember seeing the reveal trailer for a few years back when nothing ever came from it.
Boyfriend, if you're here, let me know what that game you're wondering, because you've been asking for that game. And
so what's the name of the most recent Walking Dead game that came out again? What's the name?
Walking Dead Destinies.
Okay, so I mean, I haven't played it, but like I've seen like the gameplay and like people what they're posting and stuff like that.
The cutscenes are hilarious, and they don't look like they look like they're on crack, basically.
This is a perfect example of just.
But it is based on the show, though. I mean, it's basically a what if series. I mean, what? But it's interesting. I mean, you don't have to watch the show in order to understand the stuff. So, like, for example, movies, like video game movies, because people will roast on video game movies. Like, for example, I think the Uncharted movie had, people didn't really like it because, Tom Holland being Nathan Drake, it should have been Nathan Fillion, because he looks like Nathan. But regardless, they did a good job. I mean,
it's a good movie.
Sully didn't had his mustache until like the end. Like, come on. But I wonder,
that was weird.
I heard there is going to be a second, a sequel to it.
That's confirmed.
Which I'm excited for it. Who knows? We might see Elena, but I'm curious who's going to play what, basically. But it's interesting. What game was I talking?
Kira's asking what were you asking about a game
that I think it was Overkill. I think that's what it was, Overkill.
I mean, there's a Walking. I'm probably going into a different game, but it's like, so there was Survival Instinct of the 360 PS3. There's that one, but I don't think that's the one.
Yeah, that's based on.
About. That's the show.
Yeah.
There was that. Yeah, it's a lot of Walking Dead games. I do. When it comes to that last game, the most latest one that came out, it's a classic sad case of rush development, and I'm sure they just only had so much money, and the publisher wanted it out at a certain time. And I mean, you put that game in the oven for another year.
I mean, honestly, just be grateful that some of the voice actors played their role. Like, for example,
actually surprised by that.
Carl. The one who plays Carl, he didn't voice Carl because, he was young and
his
TV
voice is so
series.
deep now.
Exactly.
But
regardless, he's one of the governor's goons. I think second goon, which you'll hear his voice in there. Was it Walking Dead Overkill?
Overkill's The Walking Dead. The Payday team was working on.
Yeah, that one.
I forgot. That's who it was. The Payday. I feel bad for Overkill because when Payday 3, the newest one, when it launched, it was like a whole week the servers were just completely blown to shit. Like nobody could play the game.
Yeah. We suffered through that.
That was bad. Like it kind of just sucked the wind out of that game. And I know a lot of people just went back and played 2. I don't know how that game's selling. but I hope things change for them because I don't know. Was that Walking Dead game canceled, Kuro? Do you know anything? You're on Google right now. Google.
Probably Google it.
I'm afraid to touch after the beginning of how we were trying to start the stream earlier. I'm afraid to touch anything right now at this point. If I touch the keyboard, maybe that's about all I could touch. If I touch anything else, I feel like it's going to explode. So, Jones said the gun selection was much worse on Payday 3 versus 2. Yes, it was actually. Now, to be fair, are we talking about the base version of Payday 2 when it came out, or are we just remembering like all the DLC stuff that's come out since from the beginning and up until now? I can't remember what vanilla Payday 2 was like. Did it have more? I don't know. But I do agree with you that like the weapon selection wasn't that great. Kuro said I already what happened to it? What happened to it?
I don't
know. What was I asking? What was my question? I asked you something and I wanted you to look up. I don't even remember. It was something about Overkill. I don't remember.
You said it was canceled though. The Overkill.
Oh, it's canceled. I'm sorry. You just said it. I apologize. I missed it. Not surprising. I'd be curious to see what they would have done, but
yeah,
it seems like Telltale's probably. I wish Telltale would make another one, but we'll see. It was being made. Kuro said it was being made. Then people were complaining about it, and it got canceled.
Right.
I think it was a first-person game. If I'm mistaken, maybe not. I have so many games in my head, I don't even remember half of them anymore. Yeah. So, but it's sorry. Kuro said I already know what happened to it. I meant. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Jones said I don't remember either. He's talking about Payday. Or just comparing Payday 2 and 3.
Right.
But while they chose to not add any LMGs, light machine guns. Yeah, they don't have any in that. That is weird. You're right.
Very weird.
Interesting.
But the people who would ever make like a Walking Dead, like full on good Walking Dead game, I feel like the Dark Picture Anthologies could actually do that. Because that would be pretty cool. Because, if it's like a what if situation, if it's like based on the show, like, make it a little bit interesting. As like, for example, like what if Negan wasn't there through the whole situation that everyone hates him? And, what if he's the one who leads the group instead of Rick? There's so many what ifs would happen. I mean, regardless, there are people that do stupid deaths. I mean, I can name one, but I don't understand why she would do that.
I would love more what if stories in general.
Yeah.
I want a Star Wars movie where the rebels at the end of Return of the Jedi failed and the Empire is still going around. And they're still doing stuff.
I heard about
there
that
might be a
on
book
Twitter.
or something, but I don't know.
I heard something about it on Twitter because I was scrolling down and I heard something about what if Star Wars series. And I was like, that would be interesting.
Honestly, I think they're clear. They already showed their roadmap, but like, I wouldn't be surprised they're writing that's down somewhere. If they feel like that the universe that they've been forming is really not going well or going down a deeper hole or something, they may just be like, let's just do a what if series.
Yeah.
Why not?
Like Marvel, for example. I mean, I enjoyed the what if series.
Yeah.
It's like there's certain things. I mean, I enjoy the zombie part of it. Like I finished
zombies. Yeah.
I think it was season 2. I finished season 2 and it was really good. But just certain things. I mean, there are certain characters that actually played back their roles from the MCU, from the movies and all that stuff. And then some of them just didn't want to replay their role. But
I feel like Marvel is
kind of going on a downhill.
They can't get it back.
With like DC in a way, like with different situations that are happening. I mean, mainly Marvel focused mainly on the comics. Like for example, the Echo series, like what happened to Kingpin back at the last or the last episode of Hawkeye, basically, because in the comics, Kingpin kind of lost his vision. I mean, there was like 2 like, you know, patches on his eyes, and it's like weird in a way, but it's still. I mean, they'll mess around the comics here and there. Like, for example, let's do Walking Dead, for example. So the ones who live, they recently post their trailer. Now, there is a clip where Rick most likely is going to lose his hand, just like in the comics.
Right.
So they're going through the comic book review of it. So basically it'll be interesting. But however, if you do get ready for Lives, highly recommend watching World Beyond so you learn more about the CRM, especially season 2, because there is another familiar character from the regular show, is also like a second bad guy kind of thing in the thing, which I was like, oh, look at that. So
I gotta go back and watch all this the Walking Dead stuff I missed. At least the main series. I want to finish that, and then I'll go and get into that other show, the first spinoff that they did. I didn't really
Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah, never caught my attention. I mean, I'm sure
it's interesting because that one's like a different universe. However, when the first episode launched of Fear the Walking Dead, Rick was still in the hospital, basically. So it's basically the same universe, which we did find out it is the same universe. Yes, Morgan is in there. He gets on until season 4 in Fear the Walking Dead, which again you'll see cameos from Andrew Lincoln, the one who plays Rick Grimes, and then there's 2 others, I think, or 3 others. Basically just talking to Morgan like, hey, you're moving on, start off like a group and all this stuff. And it's like, in the beginning you have the Clark family, which basically you learn more about them. This is how they survive in the zombie apocalypse, and all hell breaks loose. They move on to an area. Next season they're on a boat or something like that, and it's just interesting through the storyline because there's like so much going on. And then like the last season of Fear the Walking Dead, and I was in tears. I was happy, and everybody was wondering and asking for this to happen, where we literally do get a mother and daughter reunion, and that had me so happy. I was just very excited, and I was like, oh my god, you could just. My boyfriend was like, oh gosh, you're happy, like yelling in the mic. I mean, believe me, I was yelling in the mic when the last season of The Walking Dead. Yes, I'm sad that that series is done and over with, because with 11 seasons. And then like the last part of it, I was like, oh my god, so much happy tears right now. They literally tease the ones who live. Basically, I think it was like Rick and Michonne talk over basically, and where they're at, and basically because Michonne's the one who's looking for Rick and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, that's what leads to the new series. Yeah,
I was like, oh my god, it was like yelling. It's like, oh
yeah,
my gosh.
I gotta get back into it.
But yeah, it is true that Walking Dead universe, it is growing a lot, especially with all these spin-off series that is happening. I mean, we just recently found out, like, the one who plays in Harry Potter, which the one chick from, I think it was Goblin of Fire, which she was one of the, I forgot what the heck they were, but she was like one of the blondes, and this was like young her. Now you see her as an adult, and I was like, wow. And this is like through a Daryl Dixon show, and we loved the Daryl Dixon show. It was really fun. It was like we learned more about Daryl, his past, basically, like a little bit about his grandfather being in World at War, I think it was.
Yes. Sounds right.
But we are so just excited for the universe to grow, because everything is being connected, and it makes shows kind of confusing when you have so many crossovers and all that stuff.
Where do you for newcomers? Like, oh, where do I start? I get obviously the main series, but
yeah,
It's a lot to take in.
Honestly, out of the whole TWD series, and I just recently found out the most person who said the F word out of the whole series was Andrew Lincoln.
I had a feeling.
I kid you not.
I figured.
And I was like, oh my God, I'm rewatching this. And I was like, oh, there he is. F-bomb in season 5. Like straight up first F-bomb in season 5. And then found out like, I think it was season 2. Who was it? The one who plays what the heck is her name? I forgot what the heck her name is. But Kim Dixon. She did the F-bomb in Fear of the Walking Dead in the second season. Like yelling at her, play son or whatever, But I didn't realize that until I like watched it with my grandmother and, rest her soul because So I got her into Walking Dead. Straight up Walking Dead. She was a massive getting to know thing, but she loves Fear. That was her all-time favorite. And she just, because anytime if there's like some gruesome scene, she's like, oh, I gotta look away.
There's a lot of that in The Walking Dead, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of it. And then there's certain times I have to tell her and like, oh, there's a jump scare coming up. So, I have to rewatch this stuff, remember where's these jump scares at.
So you gotta write little notes down, like little timestamps to kind of just the heads up to where
I should do that, but yeah, it's it's hard because we started watching Dead City together and we never got a chance to finish it or the new season, unfortunately. And sorry if I got a little personal.
No, that's okay. No, that's I'm sorry to hear that.
For the ones who don't know, I lost my grandmother due to bone cancer, and she was diagnosed with it stage 4. And basically, I have her little thing. This is actually, we have her ashes in here finally. So this is
that's nice.
Baby me and her, and then we have the little date on it.
You have a piece of her with you at all times. That's awesome. Yeah,
because it's hard because you never expect what will happen.
No.
And it's rough, but video games just keep you occupied, and
I always say that a lot to a lot of people. I think gaming, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be gaming; it could be books, it could be anything. It's just some form of escape, is some kind of a comfort thing to do, and
basically.
Gaming is very immersive.
Just remember the good old days where she yells at you.
Exactly.
Call of Duty Black Ops 2, and like you have no headphones on at all, and you're like, oh, because she does not like it when I curse, and that's like her main reason why I like curse in different languages because of that.
Oh yeah, see that's so smart. You can say the frickin' and
exactly.
Le du fromage is not a swear, but sounds nice, but no.
But I'm excited to go on my first cruise, and that's always her dying wish was for me to go on a cruise because I've never been on a cruise in my life, and I'm just excited. And
that's when do you I was gonna say ship off.
July, the beginning of July.
Oh, okay.
I'll be going to Alaska, so gonna be fun. I'm hoping to see the Northern Lights.
Well, that's fulfilling that wish. That's really cool that you're doing that.
Yeah, basically. I mean, the rest of the family members, because they party on Saturdays, that's always been their kind of thing.
Saturday night.
I kid you not. Her favorite song of partying was like "When I Get High." Like she loved that song, and like it's crazy. But yeah, I mean, I have wonderful friends. I have an amazing boyfriend. He knows who he is.
I think it's pretty obvious who that is in the chat. I wonder who that is.
Obviously, is it, he's the boyfriend of the year from last year.
Let's see. I'm not sure who that is. So.
But
could it be Kuro? I don't know. Could it be him? Maybe.
Yeah, but like through the whole situation, it was like scary, and like I froze a couple of times. I mean, it's difficult to talk about the certain things, like when life hits you, it's occurred, and you're like, oh shit, like, you know, do you want to talk about it or don't want to talk about it? I mean, I'm a shy person in IRL wise, but regardless, it's just.
I've always been shy, so I totally understand what you're talking about. So, yeah, there he is. Okay, yeah, he replied back. Whatever that means, a cat wearing sunglasses with a flame in his hand.
He loves the cat. He loves
what the hell does that even mean? I'm sorry.
I don't know. He does it in his post chat.
What does that mean? Oh, you just love the two emojis. I'm thinking it's like a message you're trying to send with those two avatar pictures on.
I mean, yeah, it's just like, because like when it comes to streaming wise, I mean, there's certain things you'll talk about and then certain things you can't talk about. Because I try to put, you know, life away first, and then put like, you know, gaming first, and then like life in a way. But you know, I'm slowly but surely hanging in there, as everyone would say.
Yeah.
Say your name. Hi, James.
Vortex. Oh, someone new just popped. I don't remember Vortex. Oh, I know that name.
That is my Shakespeare.
That's your Shakespeare?
Yes. These boys, and I can say this, these boys are like my children. Not really, but they're my bodyguards. Let's be honest here. We got the boyfriend, and you got my friend. But his great uncle, this is why we call him Shakespeare, is because of his great grandfather. And yeah, that's his nickname from all of us. Mine is just like Snicker Girl, so
all right. Well, I know some in the chat have been waiting for this. I've completely forgot to even mention it earlier. But I was going to announce the 2 giveaway winners in our Facebook group. We were doing 2 games this week in the group, and I said I'd announce it tonight. The 2 games were Little Nightmares 2. If anybody knows what that is, it's a great game, by the way. It's very
my nightmare. Legitly. Especially the mannequins part. That one was. I can't deal with mannequins.
I can't do mannequins. Sorry, Resident Evil 7 really messed with me with that, and the old Condemned games back on the 360.
That didn't mess with me though.
I don't like them, but yeah, Little Nightmares 2, and the other game is Injustice 2 Legendary Edition. So I have the 2 winners here. I don't think they're in the chat, but I will let them know tomorrow. That just kind of bursted everybody's bubble that was in the chat. I'm sorry about that. Billy Brown and Amanda. Oof, this last name's gonna get me. Stark. I don't. They won the games though. I don't know which games you want. Whoever. The first person I ask, I'll just ask whichever one I contact first. I'm like, which one do you want? Whatever's left, the other person gets it. I know that's not a really fair way of doing it, but I don't give a shit. I'm getting a game either way. So, but yeah, those are the 2 games. That's it. And so I was going to announce 2 more games for next week. I know Cobra's going to like what one of these games are. It's Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
That's one. And Battlestar Galactica Deadlock. Those are the 2 games we'll be handing out. I hear David just popped in his voice. Did the stream hear that? Because that was like kind of creeped me out a little bit there. No, those are good games. Yeah. Don't look behind the curtain. Oh, is it still, but by the way, just real quick, David, is it still -20 by you? Holy shit. Like I said, I'd be inside my bones. Temperature. No. Okay, yeah. Can you believe it? The stream has lasted this entire time, David? I couldn't get it off the ground. I'm convinced I cannot do multiple people stream. I can do it by myself, fine. I know how to work it somehow. But if I get anybody else on, the whole thing turns to shit real fast. So, yeah, the internet's good. Oh, thank that modem. I want you, when this is over, I want you to reset it and give it its nice rest because it deserves it. Like, I don't think it gives a shit. But anyways, Cobra, it was really Ali, I gotta stop saying screen names because people used to call me Revan all the time, and it's a cool name, but Mike's fine now.
Yeah,
Ali, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for dealing with all the crazy wonky shit in the beginning. I know David would have came on, but he's dealing with the cold weather and the flickering of the lights, which, you know what, we're lucky right now, so let's kind of get this moving on. But you're welcome back on anytime. I know you probably wanted to say some stuff with David, but we'll make sure David's on next time. That's right. Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, this was fun. You used to do you used to do a podcast back in the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was The Walking Dead, right?
Yes.
I assume that's
Yeah, we did that one, and we did I think it was The Blur or something like that with me and my friend. Which we actually started the Walking Dead podcast first before that, but regardless, we talked about random games come up and all that stuff. We still have an active Twitter for that one.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, nice.
But like I said, when life hits the curve for both of us, it's no, different time zones because that one lived in the UK and all that stuff. And
someone wants to come on who lives in the UK, and that's going to be fun. We have to do it at 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's
I'm used to it. But yeah, it's crazy. But me and the boyfriend were thinking of doing a podcast together.
You definitely should.
I don't know what we would talk about, but yeah.
My advice. That was my advice. Talk about whatever the hell you want to talk, because that way, because there's nothing wrong with having a podcast that's focused on one singular thing.
Right.
But if you make a podcast that just anything can be in it, then you're not going to run out of stuff to do.
Right.
You're not going to get bored. So people say, well, you're balanced gamers. I'm like, yeah, we talk about video games, but we're just talking about crickets, and
we're just nerds.
Anything. It doesn't really matter to me. At the end of the day, we talk about anything. But yeah, thanks again for coming on. This was a fun time, and hopefully we can have you back on soon, or not, or you can just say that I'm never doing this again. For this, no. But I want to point this out. She asked us. So it's her fault if she doesn't like it.
I do like it.
So, all right, guys. It's almost 3 hours. My ass is hurting me because I can't sit for very long. So I know Allie, she could probably do 9 hours. I can't do it. So I'm gonna cut it now. So thank you everybody who's joined in the chat, and hopefully we'll see you again. If not, well, that's fine. Go watch somebody else. Make me feel sad, but okay. All right.